old style sausage, which is up close to Boulder. He donated a lot of stuff. So I came by this week to pick it up, and he says, I need you to tell Terry something. I said, okay. He says, I'm a big fan of the Terry Wickstrom show, fan outdoors, all that stuff. But they always talk about these people are putting their lives at risk because you fishermen are such a quirky group. You're afraid to put on sunscreen because you think the scent might scare away the fish. So his billion dollar idea is to make sunscreen that smells like bait, I guess, or something like that, so that the fish will be attracted to the sunscreen as opposed to you guys refusing to wear it because you're afraid of scaring off the fish. Yay or nay, Coach?
I'll tell you a few quick comments on that. One is I preach sunscreen, and I preach long sleeves. I preach big brim hats. I preach not wearing shorts. When I was young, we didn't have the knowledge we have now, and I've had my third skin cancer removed. I can also tell you that it's mosquito repellent and bug repellent that tends to be a fish deterrent more than sunscreen. Sunscreen's not nearly as bad. A lot of times it's almost an attractant. Some guys will report that after they put their sunscreen on, they caught more fish. But regardless of whether it is or not, you can always wash your hands after you apply it. You should apply it before you go out in the boat anyway. I'm a huge proponent of sunscreen. In fact, I did a big outdoor safety and comfort thing just a few months ago, and I used to teach survival classes. And believe it or not, people, when they talk outdoor safety, they think bears and mountain lions and even moose and snakes, where most of them, if they're going to have an issue, it's going to be from the sun or it's going to be from a bug. Mosquitoes kill more people in Colorado than almost everything else combined.
Well, and I hear you talk about Lyme disease as well with ticks. You've been
ticks can be bad. Bugs are just terrible. But no, I'm a huge proponent of sunscreen. And if you look, I did a number of television shows in the tropics, and I'm always wearing a big brim hat, a long sleeve shirt, and long pants. And I always have sunscreen on. And lately, I wear what's called a gaiter that pulls up over my face, and just my eyes are visible under the hat.
By the way, you mentioned how we've learned so much since you were young, like we didn't know about sun, the dangers of sun and stuff. I would be remiss to ask you, because today is our 250th birthday of our country. I wonder, Terry, I know you were there 250 years ago. Do you have any memories?
Yeah, I'm going to just pretend you didn't say that because it's close, obvious because it's close. And I'm going to ask you if the water level at Aurora Reservoir went down anymore.
Yeah, it did. It's definitely, I was trying to look at it, I'm like, because there's a log out there in the middle that we always kind of keep an eye on because normally it just barely pokes out to the top of the water. So I'm trying to gauge like how far down has it gone? And maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, but I think it's feet. Like this log, whereas usually was like just a little tiny bit, now you can see a 3 or 4 foot log or something like that. So I think it's gone down several feet.
Yeah, it's very possible, and it's probably going to go down more. Speaking of that, before I let you go, I just want to tell everybody, be so careful. Everything is so dry out there. 4th of July, anything that causes a spark or a flame, we just don't need it right now. It's, do your barbecuing over your smokers or gas grills at home, and just be so careful and wear life jackets. We lost 2 people in the last 2 days, both drowned because they weren't wearing life jackets right here on the Front Range. So let's be very, very, very cautious. And you, my friend Dan, you have a happy 4th of July, and hopefully you've got a big barbecue planned.
All right, absolutely. Thank you, Coach. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, we'll talk to you then. We'll wrap it up now that we're into Dan's show and I'm stealing time. Thanks to John for keeping us on the air. Thanks to Karen for putting this together and almost make me sound like I know what I'm talking about. And sincere thanks to all of you who listen every Saturday from 9 to 11. We feel like you're our family. You guys go out, enjoy this holiday, have the best time, but be safe. And we'll talk to you next week on Terry Wickstrom Outdoors on 104.3 The Fan. We'll let the Eagles take us to Dan Jacobs.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the Honorable Judge Dan Jacob.
Of July. Well, here's why. We have to start that. I listened to the entire show. I did not hear Terry Wickstrom talk about this once. Happy one-day anniversary to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Yay! And the reason we played Adam Sandler is I thought it was quite comical. They had Adam Sandler do the officiating of the ceremony. So that's kind of funny. That's kind of cool.
That's awesome, actually.
I like that. So, and then I would imagine, because, listen, I know I'm probably pissing all you off, and I wasn't knee deep into this stuff either, but I would imagine, I heard they did have, it was more of a celebration. That's why they had it at Madison Square Garden. I saw Taylor Swift talking about it like a year ago. She's like, I don't want to be having to make decisions on who gets to come and who doesn't get to come. So, to the wedding. So she got the Madison Square Gardens and invited, I guess, thousands of people. But I think there were concerts. There was certain artists that did little mini sets and things like that. I would imagine Adam Sandler would have performed that song. Don't you think, Joe? You've never even heard of that song. You've never seen the movie?
Of course I've seen the movie. I don't remember that. Love Stinks is the song that
it's
jumps
the
out
climax
from
of the movie. And if we're going that route, it's not Love Stinks. It's the one he performs. Remember, he wrote half the song before he broke. He got left at the altar, and the other part after. And so she's like, "I'd love to hear it." He's like, "Nah, it's a little bit uneasy." And then he gets up there and he's like, "Kill me, please."
That is a good one. I also like the Boy George one is a good one too. But
Yeah.
no, all I think of is Love Stinks from Wedding Singer. That's the song.
All right. Well, so happy one-day anniversary to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I'm sure they're going to have quite the adventures out there. So that was funny seeing that Adam Sandler was out there. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We already had somebody on the RamosLaw.com text line saying, happy 4th of July, Dan Jacobs. Well, back at you, sir. We appreciate that. And by the way, don't forget to, I'm looking at my own handsome face here in the studio, YouTube chat, Sean Ponda YouTube chat. You can get into the show that way and, of course, watch the show. We figured out, we had an epiphany yesterday, didn't we, Joe, that, and I think you posted this as one of our clips, so people can find it from now on. The barbecue baked beans recipe is now living forever on YouTube because we did it in the last hour of yesterday's show when I was filling in for Dover and Cecil, and I think you, Joe, made a clip out of that, and you're going to post that. In fact, right now, on the Champ Honda YouTube chat line from VINQ6255 says, happy 4th of July, everyone. Dan, you're such a trooper. Thanks for working today. I'm currently working on stuff in the garage and listening to the show. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for taking time out. But making us a part of your holiday experience. We're
thanks for
happy.
giving us a reason to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just been spinning this week because I'm doing 4 shows in a row, and one of them was on Thursday, one was on Friday, and I'm like, what day is it? Yesterday I got off the work. I was like, is today Saturday? I don't know. I'm completely confused. I don't know.
I feel like Robin Williams and Jumanji.
Yes.
What year is it?
Yes. So, I'm excited to be here. By the way, Joe, for you, intro song request for the 4th of July. Good morning, America. How are you? Say, don't you know me? I'm your native son. Willie Nelson song. It's called The City of New Orleans. I think we should put that on the list.
That sounds good.
Throughout the day, we should be bringing us back from commercial break. They call them bumper. It's called bumper music here in the radio business, and we'll be playing at the discretion of Joe Goodwin behind the glass, will be playing songs like that. So we'll put that on the list.
I'll play almost anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have no standards. We learned that yesterday in the Check Your X segment. Absolutely no standards for what you will put on the air. That's all that needs to be said about what you did yesterday. It was shameful conduct out of you, sir.
I remember one time I came back from break with Prestige Worldwide from Step Brothers. Not even a song.
Did anybody notice?
Oh, yeah. You and I were, jamming. I told Richie about it because that's one of Richie's favorite movies. One of those things where, like, you have to sign into your boss's account at work and he tells you his password and you're supposed to never tell anyone. And it was a Step Brothers reference, and I found that to be really funny.
Ah, that's funny. One time I had to fix something here for somebody that worked for me here at the station. And so I needed his password. And so he gives me his password, and it's basically a shot at me, like an insult to me personally. Like, which one? I thought we were friends. And it turns out that I guess apparently the guy hated me. And so much so that his password here at the station was a shot at me. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Sounds good. So anyway, yes, happy 4th of July. We got a few 4th of July related things we have to get out of the way. First off, happy birthday to the lovely Kathy. Well, I can't say lovely. I've trademarked that for my wife. But the entertaining, the legendary Kathy J. It's her birthday today. She was apparently born on the 4th of July. And I'm pretty sure I am. I'm like 90% in. Now, with me, there's always a chance that I plan on doing something and then I get to like 5 minutes, 20, 30 minutes before, and then I'm like, I'm not going to that. But I think I'm going to go over to, because I was whining yesterday on the Dover and Cecil show that, I don't know, my family's out of town, I don't have a place to go, blah, blah, blah. Joe, you tried to prank me with a fake invite again to like your party. And
no, you're invited. Come on down.
Yeah, right. Like I was invited to your tailgate.
You were. You could have shown up without me. They would have loved you.
Yeah. Hey, guys, you have no idea who I am, but Joe said I could stop by and eat free food and drink stuff.
You'd be amazed how often that happens. Dan, we have a life-size replica of Bucky the horse. People come from all around to hang out at our tailgate, and we sometimes have extra food.
Okay. All right. Well, what I think I'm going to do is not, because you live, where do you live in? You live on the west side.
Oh, no, the party is going to be over like Morrison Road and between Sheridan and Federal, that area, because everyone in that area just kind of shoots off fireworks. So we're going to get a free show on the roof.
Are you going to be doing that this weekend?
Today.
Today, yeah. I mean, like shooting off fireworks?
I don't know.
You could destroy the city?
But I guarantee everybody else in the neighborhood will, and so we're just going to enjoy it.
You're going to burn the neighborhood, Denver, to the ground? Like it's a drought. Like I don't even know.
We're
like
watch it burn.
Are there fireworks going on? Like did they all get canceled?
I think there's some. Honestly, I don't know. This area has had so much, I guess, unauthorized fireworks every year for the past however many years. I just expect it to continue.
Well, yeah, but we're in a drought. Like we skipped winter. Like I expect winter every year too, but we didn't get one. So maybe you shouldn't be shooting up fireworks. I don't know. All right, if you do me a favor, Joe, go ahead and get Chad on the line. And while you're doing that, so I think I'm going to go over to JJ Pellini's. I call it the Pellini Mansion. It's where he and Kathy J live together in perfect harmony.
It's probably closer than my house.
I think. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your house is like an hour each way for me, and JJ's house is less than 10 minutes. So I might go over to do that. So what I was going to do is I want to bring something, of course. Unless he's like Zach By, which first off, I know he's not like Zach By because JJ welcomes me to bring stuff over to his house. But what do you guys think I should bring? What should I because I always want to, if I'm going to show up somewhere, I want to knock people's socks off. So what should I bring? I might do the adult baked beans. I would have time to do that. I might do armadillo eggs. I don't have time to like smoke anything, right? Because I'm working here until 2, so I don't have time to do 6 hours, ribs or things like that. All right. In fact, speaking of neighbors over on the rich part of town, Chad Andrus, how are you, sir?
Well, Judge, just finished up a hike and stopped off where I can have a cell signal to make ssure I converse with you on all the important matters of the day.
Like what should I bring to JJ's house? I'm heading over to the mansions. So, because my family left me over the weekend, so I think I'm going to go to JJ's house for a little barbecue in your neck of the woods, same neighborhood as you.
So I missed that invite.
Well, he only invited me. He only invited me because I was whining that I have nothing to do. So he said, well, you can, out of pity, he said I could come over to his house in your guys' neighborhood. Obviously, we call his place the Pellini Mansion. What should I bring? What do you think? It's got to be quick. It can't. I don't have time. I'm working, obviously, so I don't have time to smoke meat all day. But should I go with a heavy protein, like a really nice, steak option, or I've got some deer trail stuff I'm sure I'll bring over, but I don't know what should I bring to live up to the hype of Dan Jacobs going to your barbecue?
Well, I mean, no one's going to be disappointed if you bring a deer trail steaks over.
True.
And JJ's not going to turn that away. But I thought you wanted it simple and easy. Like, can't you just do your baked beans or whatever it is that's real easy for something?
Yeah, I mean, I might do that. Yeah, I might absolutely do that. So by the way,
hot dogs.
Yeah, no hot. I cringe at the thought of doing hot dogs. I do have some Deer Trail Meat Co. jalapeno cheddar sausage that I'll probably bring over as well. All right, so I don't know what the heck's going on with the Denver Nuggets. I know they're in the LeBron James thing, but then I'm on DenverSports.com. I see that it's not. I don't want to mischaracterize this, that they could have had Jaylen Brown, but the discussions with the Celtics about Jaylen Brown, the Celtics at least had interest in Jamal Murray, and apparently he's off the table. So what does that mean? What are the Nuggets doing, Chad? Please make sense of it to me.
Yeah, I mean, he was at least off the table in that discussion. All indications to this point are that they're pretty much running it back. And I'll say that with the caveat of massive deals do take a long time to put together, and they want to make sure they get it right. But I don't think there's been any indication other than preference of people that cover the team or the fan base for the very divisive argument of moving on from Jamal Murray and his salary and doing something different with that $50+ million. Other than the narrative of that, there's been no indication from the Nuggets side of things that that's the plan.
All right, I want to talk this out with you because it's all confusing, and we've talked at length, and all the shows have been doing things. The problem is when you start talking about the NBA salary cap, you think you know it, and then there's some other rule, and you got it completely wrong. So, but I was talking to Dave Cohen, our friend, your friend and my friend, before the show, and he's like, well, I just read something that says they're not in any cap issues at all, which is not true, but I did a little bit of math. And so this is probably going to be wrong, but I think right now they're at about $215 million. They need to, still fill out the roster and things like that. So let's say they do re-sign Payton Watson, and that puts them at about $235 million. They don't have to get down to the cap to avoid the repeater tax. I don't think. I think they just have to get under the luxury tax threshold, which is around $200 million. So let's say they're $235 million. They start the season. They still have flexibility to move contracts, but I guess the point being they only have to really shed probably around $35 million total to get under that repeater threshold. At least that's the way I think it's working. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, so if you operate like that, then you're talking about all you have to do is do that before the trade deadline. So you say, okay, who's the contending team that really is going to pay out for Aaron Gordon at this point? And they're going to, take Zeke Naji with it to make sure we get under that money and we're going to get picks back. So that just has to be done by the trade deadline, essentially, because that's the last time you can make a move before your total on your books is going to be set and your tax would be determined. But, okay, at that point, that's a really different conversation if the Nuggets are first or second in the West and on a roll at the All-Star break and look like a machine that can contend, or if Gordon's been hurt, Peyton Watson hasn't been on the floor, Jokic and Murray have missed time, Cam Johnson has been out again, they're floundering, they haven't figured out a way to play defense, and they're barely above 500. Those are two different, very, very different conversations as to what you're doing to shed the money at that time. And I don't know that there's any reasonable way that you could predict that they would be at either one of those ends of the spectrum or wherever they would land in between. So do you want to run the risk of looking really, really good and thinking like you're in contention and then say, oh, well, we're going to pay now, and then think that's going to maintain through the playoffs and against San Antonio and against Oklahoma City, and then you're just going to eat the tax money? Or are you going to, at that point, make a trade even though things are going well?
My guess would be they would
make a pretty tough question to ask.
Well, they're probably going to make a trade no matter what. I just have a hard time. And by the way, I don't blame them. Because you give me a hard time. You think I'm really hard on the Rockies, and I don't want to give them credit. I don't blame them. In fact, I think it would be irresponsible to pay that ridiculous one. I think it'd be immoral to be wasting money like that. But also to keep yourself in repeater status for yet another season. So then it takes longer to reset the repeater status. I have a really hard time, unless if LeBron comes here and maybe that changes the narrative, but absent LeBron coming here, I can't wrap my mind around a scenario where they pay $150 to $250 million extra dollars in luxury tax penalties. Can you?
No, for a team that wasn't competitive in the first round against a team that was all banged up and injured. So I said the same thing, and I was on another one of our friends' shows yesterday talking about this, and they said, he's worth $30 billion. Why not just pay the tax? And I said, well, why would you do that for a team that is nowhere close? It's a different story if you were in the Western Conference Finals or you lost in the NBA Finals and you thought that your team was there. This team's not there. They have flaws. They have holes that are beyond just injuries or matchups with Minnesota. So, no, and I think the one big thing, and John Davis and I have been talking about this quite a bit the last couple of days, that people are overlooking is well, why don't they just pay it? If they just pay it, they can move forward. It's just money. Well, it's not, because then it limits what kind of moves you can make. So you're not just paying that extra money for a team that's not close. You're then committing to that because you have no other flexibility to get out of it. You go into that second apron, then all of your free agent signings, your trade possibilities, what you can take back in a trade, how you can move players, those get all limited. So you're not only paying double the price of what it costs to have your team, you're doing it for a team that's not close to a championship, and you're committing to that's the only path we're going to have. Yeah. It's not a wise decision.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Now, you and I we may disagree on why we think Jamal Murray is problematic. However, I think we do both agree that it's highly unlikely that he's the centerpiece or the number two for a Nuggets successful second run. I really like the way you put it, Chad, during the games when they were unfolding or right at the end when you said the Nikola Jokic era is over. It's done. And I agree with you on that. The question is, as you stated, is there going to be a second one, a second part of his prime where there's a legitimate hope of a championship? I really like the way you put that. I agreed with it. I don't think Jamal Murray's a part of that. But if it's true what we're seeing on DenverSports.com right now, that the Nuggets had at least an opportunity to explore a situation with Jaylen Brown, but they wanted to shove, I believe, Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson the other way, and the Celtics said, no, if we're going to do anything, it's got to include Jamal Murray, and apparently the Nuggets were not interested in that. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's where I wholeheartedly disagree. And, my take is the Jokic-Murray era is over. Because while we agree that there's an issue there and there's a challenge with those two as the core of your team, we think there's different reasons why. But it's not a Minnesota problem that I see in the playoffs, because any team you're going to play in a series is going to have two or three long, lanky, quick defenders that can pick up and pressure full court, and they're going to have two or three guys that can put their head down, put the ball on the floor, and get to the rim. And if you have Jokic and Murray on the court, their other teams are going to do those two things on every possession, every minute they're in the game for an entire 7-game series. And you cannot put that kind of strain and responsibility on Joker and Jamal, because Jamal can't get the ball up the floor by himself and get in the offense with 10 seconds left and then end up taking challenged, rushed, bad shots. That's how you get 3 for 17 shooting games, because you're tired and you're pressured by bigger, longer athletes. And then on the other end, you're having to defend every action. So they're exhausted. So when your game plan is to, it's close in the final 5 minutes, we'll close with Jokic and Murray, 2-man game, it's unstoppable. Well, no, they've stopped it because they've worn the guys out over the previous 46 minutes of the game. and they can't get a clean shot off. They don't have their legs under them. They don't have touch in the paint. They don't have a floater. They can't get to their spot because they've worn them out. The Nuggets have to play a different way that isn't so entirely dependent on Jamal and Joker, because when those two guys are the focus, other teams use the entirety of the course of the game to take them out of their ability to close. So it's no indictment on Jamal as a player. It's no indictment on Jokic as a player. It's the combination of the way teams can expose both of them being on the floor. Well, so in my opinion, the only way out is to get a deeper, more athletic team with more ball handling options. And Jamal's $50 million salary is the best way to flip that into 2 or 3 playable guys for a playoff rotation. That's the easiest path to take a smaller step backwards in order to take steps forward.
I don't agree with anything you said there. The only thing I would maybe disagree with when you say it's not a slight on Jamal is I agree with you. They're tired. They're worn out. Or in particular, Jamal is. How many years have we heard that, though? And is he not possible? Is it not humanly possible for him to get in the type of shape so he's not exhausted at the end of games?
No, it's not shape, Dan. And this is where we're butting heads, because you said, be in shape, try harder, have more heart, be tougher. None of that is going to change being pressured by Jaden McDaniels or Terrence Shannon or Ant dribbling up the floor for 48 minutes. He's still going to have to struggle because he is an inferior athlete to those players. He is going to be pressured the whole time. And when the Nuggets put that onus on him as a sole ball handler, they're late getting into their offense. They don't get good shots. They get tired, and it's tough to close down the stretch. It's the equivalent of, you saying to me, if I'm playing one-on-one with Jamal Murray, well, you should just try harder. Well, it doesn't matter how hard I try, how much heart I have. I got no shot. He's going to stop me
I don't
every
agree.
Single time. That is the equivalent when you put Jaden McDaniels or Ant on him. They're going to make it difficult every single time.
That's where you've used that. You've used that analogy before, and I don't think that's an apt analogy. What you're talking about is a talent gap. What you're saying is,
yes.
It doesn't matter.
It's a physical ability gap. It is quick twitch athleticism and length. It is the difference between, what Russell Westbrook provides on a court and what Andre Miller provides on a court. It is the margins that win games in the NFL, in college football, in the NBA, in hockey. It is the tiniest of margins, inches, quarters of a second, that are won by quick twitch athletes when there are loose balls. And other teams have better athletes than Jamal.
All right, so what do you think on this LeBron thing? I don't think we've heard anything overnight. It's weird. You would thought he would have learned a lesson about dragging things out, because he seems to have been pretty reflective about what a disaster the decision was. But listening to his agent yesterday do the whiteboard and all that stuff, sounds like they don't mind dragging it out and making it all painful for us. What's your best guess on what's going to go on with LeBron?
Well, I've said this for the last 2 days. It's fun to talk about. Don't ever want to ruin anybody's fun or, be a wet blanket on the party. Everybody can dream. Everybody can hope. It would be great to envision him and Jokic playing together for the basketball element of it. People that love the NBA for basketball would be in heaven for the high level that they could achieve together. And it's amazing to think about. It's hard for me to buy into it being too realistic. First and foremost, LeBron is a walking, talking, dunking billion-dollar enterprise. He didn't wake up this week and say, you know what, I'm just not feeling like the Lakers anymore. Let's just go field some offers and see what's out there, and maybe somebody will I'll be lucky enough, somebody will give me a good deal, and I'll land a job. He's a billion-dollar enterprise. He knows where he's going. This has been decided long ago. But the attention he's getting from it, and the way they're putting out a whiteboard of options, allows Rich Paul, LeBron James, their entire team, Clutch, to take the temperature of the room and see what the reactions are going to be like. How should they announce it? When should they announce it? What should be definitely included, on the team roster when we get there? And it puts attention on him for a week when nothing else is going on. But to pretend for a second like he's still weighing his options and making a decision, that's silly. Billion-dollar enterprises do not do that.
All right, I heard you say that yesterday. I agreed with it. I brought it up throughout the show. Thank you for taking some time. Happy anniversary. Good job getting out on a hike, and we'll let you get on home. Thank you, sir.
All right, Judge. See you.
All right, that's Chad Andrus. You want to react to anything he had to say? I know I'm going to react to something he had to say. We'll do that coming up next.
The countdown is on. Broncos training camp is less than a month away. Rookies report July 22nd. Veterans hit Broncos Park powered by Common Spirit on the 28th. Bo Nix is expected back at full speed. Sean Payton skipping joint practices to maximize every rep. And it all builds toward a season opener on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. From camp battles to kickoff, Denver Sports has you covered. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
Jacob's Law, 303 Law 4040, 303 Law 4040. Yesterday, we celebrated the big birthday here on the show of my lovely wife, Kimberly, who you will talk to. You'll either talk to her or myself when you call 303 Law 4040. I know that's one of the biggest complaints that clients have had in the past, why they don't even like talking to lawyers, is because they've called some of those big TV lawyers in the past, made-for-TV lawyers in the past, and they never get to talk to a lawyer, or they may get to talk to a lawyer one time, and then everything is just passed around. You can't get answers. You can't get anybody on the phone, and then that leads to timelines that drag on forever. Not at Jacob's Law and 303 Law 4040. When you call 303 Law 4040, we will answer. My wife or myself will answer. We'll talk to you. We'll talk about your case. If it makes sense, we'll set up an in-person meeting so we can get to know you, get to know the story, and get you some help to get you feeling better while we take care of all the paperwork and nonsense behind the scenes to get you as much money that is fair because somebody else hurt you without your permission, I might add. It's 303 Law 4040. I hope you never need it, but accidents do happen. So go ahead, save that number in your phone. It's 303 Law 4040.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. And when it comes to your internet, you want the most intelligent, and that's what they provide. The most intelligent Wi-Fi that can hunt down and fix problems. Reliability, well, you want the most reliable Wi-Fi for streaming, gaming, working from home, and coverage that goes wall to wall in your home. How about security? Wi-Fi that's security blanket for your network, and reliability. Fiber-powered network with 99.99% reliability, built for speed so you can run multiple devices at once, and Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home tie and work together. Consistency, you can lock in 5 years of predictability. 5 years, the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi with our best equipment. Plus, you can get online with minutes, same-day Wi-Fi. Hey man, that's the price lock guarantee. 5 years, same price, no contracts, no commitments. It's all included. Everything you need, including the data and equipment, the most reliable Wi-Fi. That's Xfinity, guys. Imagine that.
This 4th of July will be different than any other. Because this 4th of July, we have more things to be grateful for than ever. My name is Glenn Jameron. I'm president of Alpine Bank, member FDIC. Yes, we've all been going through some rough times. But this 4th of July, we can be thankful for the freedom we enjoy as Americans. We can be thankful for our families, for our children's future. We can be thankful for our friends and neighbors, for being alive. Here at Alpine Bank, we're thankful for the terrific employee owners we have. And most of all, we're thankful for one person who makes our job the best in the world. That person is you.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time. to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
It's no secret that the checkout line feels a lot heavier. If those daily essentials are ending up on a credit card, those double-digit interest rates are quietly draining your bank account. If that debt is starting to feel heavy, you're not alone. And if you're a homeowner, you've likely looked at your mortgage rate and thought, I can't touch that. With American Financing's Smart Equity Loan, you don't have to. It allows you to wipe out high-interest debt and lower your monthly overhead while keeping your primary mortgage intact. It's a surgical strike against debt. Unlike a fluctuating HELOC, the Smart Equity Loan is a fixed-rate loan, giving you a predictable monthly payment. At American Financing, there are never any upfront fees to find out what you qualify for. Guys, talk to a salary-based mortgage consultant today. Experts who are paid to help you save, not sell you more than you need. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334.
Chat line. By the way, folks, sign in there. If you like the Dan Jacobs Show, it's a free, easy way to show the bosses around here, the suits, that you support the show, because they look at the numbers on the YouTube. And then they compare everybody, and if nobody watches the Dan Jacobs Show at the end of the week, then there may be no Dan Jacobs Show. So I need you guys to get on there and check us out on YouTube. And you might be pleasantly surprised, because we have on the Champ Honda YouTube chat line, it's kind of, I feel it's like a Zach By backhanded compliment, but it's a compliment nonetheless. It's from at My Private Library. First time seeing you, you've exceeded the aesthetic portrait I had painted in my head for so many years.
Attractive.
Both of you guys. Cheers. Good men. So what they're basically saying is, you sound really ugly, and you're not as ugly as I thought. Well, thanks. And by the way, she's talking about you too, Joe.
Oh,
he
yeah, for
or
sure.
she,
I sound
whoever.
fat.
Yeah. You think you sound fat?
No, I'm like, have you heard Mark Schlereth's live reads for Colorado Fat Loss? When he's like, man, they told me you sound fat, Mark, and they were right, I am.
Who said that? The people at the Fat Loss thing?
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually said that, but he just says it as a joke to get you to go to coloradofatloss.com.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I was thinking about that is because I had this guy from high school, and he was the best athlete in high school, and he's still in great shape. He had like one little era in his life after he got divorced where he got maybe a little pudgy. But he was always muscular, always ripped, and he keeps signing up for these companies that he could sell things to you, like these multi-level marketing wellness things. And so I'm like, dude, you've lost the same 20 pounds to sell us this stuff. I don't know how many times, dude. Like, because he always goes, I was blah, blah, blah. And by the way, he shows a picture of himself from a year ago where he still looked great. And now he looks even leaner and cutter. But it's like, dude, you've lost that same amount. You keep losing the same amount. How many times are you supposed to buy it? Now it's like a stem cell patch that's making him younger and stuff like that. That type thing. And I thought a little bit about that with Mark Schlereth. You know what I mean?
That's funny. Like every year around Thanksgiving, I gain 20 to 30 pounds, and then every year I make a commercial to lose about 20 or 30 pounds.
There you go. So, yeah, folks, if you want to help us out, go ahead and jump into the YouTube chat. Watch us like the other person. They're just in their garage dinking around. You can listen on the radio, but it'll help us even more if you just pull us up on your phone and watch us on YouTube.
It's like that soft taco commercial, Dan. Why not both?
Because it's not good? Are you talking about the double-decker taco? I was never a fan of
No,
that.
it's an old commercial of like soft taco shells versus hard taco shells, and it had the little girl going, Why not both?
Well, if by both you mean I eat twice the tacos, yes, separate.
Yes.
But I never like that double decker. The Taco Bell probably still has it. It's like a soft taco with beans or cheese in the middle, and then a hard taco shell. Never liked it. Couldn't go. Can't do it. All right. So Dave in NoCal writes in, "Hi Dan, love your show. My 10-year-old son and I listen while running errands on the weekends. He always asks me to turn on Dan Jacobs. I'm making your adult baked beans, and I have an important question. Once I have all the ingredients combined, how long should they sit on the smoker? An hour, 6 hours, overnight?" Dave in NoCal. Well, that's awesome. I wish you would put your son's name in there because I chat him out by name, so we appreciate that. First, on that thing as far as the beans go, no, not overnight. It depends on what level of heat you have your smoker on. All you're doing is heating the stuff up and then getting a layer of caramelization, a thick layer of caramelization on the beans over the top. It could be as low as an hour. So, and obviously you don't want to be smoking them over 300 or 350, but you can go anywhere from 275 to maybe up to 325. Obviously they're going to cook a little bit quicker if you put them at 325. So no, I mean, it's no more than an hour or two, I would say. Now, this also makes my heart feel good because this year I was doing a thing at my daughter's school called Watchdogs. And it's like, dads go into school and volunteer, and you go from like classroom to classroom to classroom, right? And I went into one classroom and I was wearing my fan apparel, DenverSports apparel, and a kid stopped me. He goes, hey, do you work at the Fan? And I go, yeah, I work there, which, it's a little surprising. You don't expect a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old necessarily to be, one of our core demographics. But he's like, yeah, I love that station. I go, oh, well, who's your favorite host? And I'm like, getting ready to, peacock around because I'm sure he's going to say Dan Jacobs.
This is not a drill.
He's like, no, I love Brandon Stokely. I'm like, what? Brandon Stokely's 50 years old. Why would a kid like him?
Who's got a step and some speed.
So at least Dave and NoCal's son is on the Dan Jacobs train. Let's see here. What else we have here? Willie. Willie at Aurora. Did Dan literally just call the potential decision to pay the repeater tax immoral? Listen, I think it would be silly to pay the repeater tax given last year's performance, but the idea would be immoral. I mean, if that's the case, every single decision paying out tens of millions, billions of dollars for a stupid, silly sport would be considered immoral, Dan. Like, what are we even talking about? Fair comment, Willie. And you might be right on both front. Well, you might be right on it is immoral to pay millions of billions of dollars for a stupid, silly sport. However, we're the ones that decide that, right? Because we are the ones as a consumer that have said, hey, we're willing to, supply and demand wise, we'll do almost anything for sports. And so we'll watch it. And so that's why these salaries have exploded. That's only happened in the last, 20 years, right? It used to be Broncos players had to go get jobs at car dealerships or oil fields or building fences after the season. Like they had real jobs in the off season, and then they would, come and play for the Broncos. Obviously that's not the case now. What I do feel, when I say it's immoral, if we're talking about, and I understand it's just, because the money goes to the other billionaires, right? Like when you pay the luxury tax, it's my understanding, it just gets chopped up between the other billionaire owners in the league. It's like a revenue share or something. But yeah, I think if we're talking about, like, so let's say they went all in on LeBron, and because LeBron has the same agent as Payton Watson, they also, as a condition of getting LeBron, they had to re-sign Payton Watson at $25 million a year. And so the Nuggets just said, you know what? For 1 year, we don't care, which I think is highly unlikely, but let's say they do it. And they pay $250 million, not in salaries, because the salaries would also be somewhere in that $250 million range. Right. So they're paying $500 million, but half of that, $250 million, is just tax to the other billionaires in the league. To which I say, why it would? I just had an idea. You know what would not make it immoral? If they said, we're going to donate that money to charity. Like, I think in the NFL or certain leagues, like if a player gets fined, the league doesn't keep that money. They give it to a charity. Right.
That's cool.
Why don't we do that? Then it would not be immoral. But just with all the tough times and people suffering out there.
In this economy,
by George. Why? Yeah, you know what? I changed my position. It would not be immoral if they just make one slight tweak. So if the Cronkies paid $246 million in just luxury tax, all that tax money should go to, whatever charities. The best free meal in Denver or something like that.
good work, Dan. You just fixed sports.
But so, Willie, that's what I'm talking about. The idea that we're throwing, and I understand it's just getting passed around, but throwing away $250 million on a team that has no realistic opportunity to compete for an NBA championship seems a little silly to me. And to me, it's that type of wasteful conduct. To me, it reeks of immorality, to be honest with you. And I don't know why the NBA set up things this way or whatever. I know they thought they had a bright idea to keep, teams on a level playing field, but the thing is a mess. All right, coming up next, by the way, were the Nuggets closer than we thought in the playoffs? Let's talk about that.
Colton, Drury, and Nichushkin all gone. New faces are already in the fold, with the entire blue line back as well after a Western Conference final sweep that still stings. How will the Avs retool around McKinnon for another cup run? Every trade, every signing, every take. Denver Sports has you covered all summer long. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. This is one of the reasons I really love DeerTrailMeatCo.com. Now, I've invited you as listeners. Nobody's given me advice yet to say, hey, Dan, here's what you should bring to the Pelini Mansion today for the 4th of July Fest. I got a late invite, probably going to head over there. And one of the things I can do, though, I'm not going to, no matter what, I'm not showing up empty-handed because I just looked in my freezer. And I have some jalapeno cheddar sausage from DeerTrailMeatCo.com. I just grabbed it out of the freezer. I'm going to bring it over, right? I got some tomahawk steaks. Probably going to bring those over. So I have all sorts of stuff already in the freezer we can just bring over and we can eat, and it's going to be delicious. And I didn't have to go to the store and pay through the nose for the privilege of having this delicious beef. Here's what you do. You go to DeerTrailMeatCo.com. That's DeerTrailMeatCo.com. You check out what kind of bundle do you want to do. Also, by the way, don't sleep on their pork. They have delicious pork products as well, like that jalapeno cheddar sausage. But it will be delivered to your front house at a tremendous savings over the grocery stores and even the warehouse prices. So you want to check them out. They give you a money-back guarantee. Do yourself a favor. You're going to thank me. DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
If you're going to ask her to spend the rest of your life with you, shouldn't you give her a diamond worthy of that journey?
One that you can give her with no regrets?
A diamond that shines like no other.
That's why our family started Williams Jewelers over 75 years ago. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Bruce Williams. Today, Williams Jewelers is Denver's finest diamond engagement ring store with 10 times the selection of diamonds, engagement rings, and wedding bands you'll find in average stores.
Where you get a lifetime quality guarantee that protects you for the life of the ring.
A lifetime diamond upgrade guarantee.
A 30-day money-back price and total satisfaction guarantee.
And no regrets.
Give her a diamond worthy of her and your money's worth.
Say will you with Williams.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue between Fillmore and Detroit, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Legacy means tomorrow matters. Hi folks, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Home Improvements. Tomorrow, next week, next month, 10 years from now matters. My wife Susan and I started Done Right in our garage in 1985, and our family has always been focused on legacy. What we do, how we do it, how we treat people matters. As a result, we've grown to be one of the largest companies of our kind in Colorado, specializing in kitchens, baths, counters, floors, finished basements, windows, and doors. Here's our son Todd.
Dad, doing what's right shapes all of our projects. Whether a first-class kitchen renovation, a turnkey bathroom remodel, a full-service basement finish, or new windows and doors, we'll wow you with your project, your experience, and with an 8% scheduling incentive and a special financing rate of 0% APR with 72 equal monthly payments. Now couldn't be a better time. Dad?
Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors, finished basements, windows, and doors. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right. Reserve your spot. Go to drhi.com. Thanks for listening.
Joe, I thought it was McGruber. You're saying America. I thought he was talking about McGruber.
No, it's Team America World Police.
Oh, there you go. Well, good job out of you. That was funny. I like it. Real quick, there is a article on DenverSports.com I want to get to, at least putting out the notion that maybe we're all being a little too harsh on the Nuggets. I'm trying not to laugh. I want to be respectful of what's on DenverSports.com. But maybe the Nuggets are a little bit closer to being a contender than we really give them credit for. But before we get to that, I did want to address, Chad loves to argue with me on this point. I don't know why, but I did take a little issue with his analogy. I thought he gave a really articulate, thoughtful, probably correct analysis of why it's so easy to beat the Nuggets in the playoffs, which was basically if you have athletic guys that will pressure you the full length of the court, but what I thought I heard Chad say, because I'm sure he's going to say I twisted it, and that's not what I said, Dan. But what I thought I heard him say was, so by the time they're doing that, they're pressuring Jamal and Jokic all the way up for 4 quarters. Their legs are gone in the 4th quarter. I thought he said that. To which I replied, well, then get in better shape. And Chad always likes to use this analogy, saying, well, that's like saying if you put me on Michael Jordan, it doesn't matter how hard I try, I'm going to lose every time because they're better athletes. Well, there's 2 separate things. Chad also says, and I know you agree with him, Joe, that apparently now, for the first time I've ever hearing this, is that Jamal Murray is a slow, doesn't have quick twitch, non-athletic guard, I guess. Right?
No,
but
that's exactly that.
But that's different than saying your legs get tired. So, Chad, yes, you're going to lose to Michael Jordan every time, right? But I remember one time LeBron got cramps. I don't remember Michael Jordan ever getting cramps. I mean, I don't remember or just being too tired all the time to finish games. Like, I don't remember Kobe. Name any player that you would give a pass like that, saying, well, they just pressure him so hard that they're tired, and then get in better shape.
Well, it's not about shape, Dan. I mean, it's
it's about conditioning.
Chad made a bad analogy. It's more like you can't have the pitcher pitch every single pitch anymore. You can't run the ball to the same guy every play the entire game. Eventually, you're going to run out of gas. The Nuggets had nobody to come in and just spell from a point guard perspective, because also guys like LeBron or guys like Jordan, like Kobe, they're shooting guards. They don't need to take the ball up the court. They don't need to do all of that. They can save their energy for being great, where a guy like Jamal, who has all of those responsibilities, and like they don't have a guy to put in for him.
Well, the notion that there was specifically something called the Jordan rules, which was, okay, he didn't bring the ball up the court. I know that must be really exhausting. But there was literally a defensive strategy to just completely beat up and wear out Michael Jordan. Now, did anybody go, well, that's just, it's not a conditioning thing. He He was supremely conditioned. It is a getting tired conditioning thing. If you're too tired to bring the ball up the court and then you go 3 for 17 like Chad said. And by the way, I don't agree. I appreciate the analogy, but it's not impossible. It's not physically impossible for pitchers to pitch a complete game. That's just their strategy now. They're just babied now, right? They're just softer now. That's all. It's not like you can't. It's not like the human body has evolved through or devolved, I guess, de-evolution, that the athletes that are bigger, stronger, and more athletic now, some reason can't throw as many pitches as some dude in the 1970s could, or 80s could, or 90s could. That's just their strategy now, right? It's not that you can't have a workhorse back in the league, because Travis Henry is a workhorse back.
Travis Henry?
Or not Travis Henry.
I know Derrick Henry actually,
Derrick Henry.
He shares a lot of time with Justice Hill. He gets less carries than he ever did before. So that's actually proves my point.
It actually
you can't give it to Derrick Henry every play.
So your point is that Derrick Henry has not been a bell cow back. That's it? That he doesn't get I almost cussed.
As a fantasy football owner
of touches?
Of Derrick Henry, yes.
Throughout his career, bring up the stats. I'd love to see it. Go ahead.
Oh, dude, last year was insane. The amount of times.
See, there you go. There you go, James Merrill. Well, last year, you're like the guys.
I mentioned Justice Hill, Dan. Derrick Henry with the Ravens. I never mentioned any other time.
You're like
on
the guys
rules.
that take Bo Nix's numbers and compare them to Patrick Mahomes when he's a bad year and try and make the analogy that he's look at Patrick, like they're somehow close to each other. Or the guys that were talking about Jerry Rice having drops in his first year, so therefore Jerry Jeudy is around the same level of Jerry Rice. You're taking a little microcosm to distort history, where we all know that Derrick Henry has been a bell cow back. We all know there are guys, they're few and far between, but there are guys that absolutely can handle the load. So it's not physically impossible that it can't happen. It's just that the game has changed. The games have changed.
It's also a bad idea.
Why is it a bad idea if a guy's rolling?
Because he won't be rolling anymore, and then he gets hurt. Like, Derrick Henry always had somebody. They brought in Latavius Murray when he was a rookie. Like, he's always shared the backfield with somebody, and that's part of the reason why he's so dominant, because he's more fresh than other guys. Like, Jerome Bettis never really had until way later in his career with Willie Parker. So I think it's one of those things that's also helped him play as well into his 30s.
Well, that's the theory, right? Because that's why they can't play pitchers and they can't do this and that. But anybody remember Nathaniel Hackett? I remember Nathaniel Hackett. Right, and he did his training camp. He says everything we do is backed by science, and he babied everybody. And in fact, I've talked to Carl Mecklenburg about this. Carl Mecklenburg and I were talking about this, and it was like, well, they baby these athletes, and every time they get hurt or whatever, they do this. They go to the training table. They have to sit out 2 or 3 weeks. And his point was, the more reps, the better. Because and actually it was a mental toughness thing to go to the core of this argument, which was we learned how to function and play hurt, and they sharpened themselves mentally, and they were able to do it. Now, you can make the argument that it's a better way to do it, to keep resting guys and rest days and keeping guys fresh. You can make that argument. I don't know that bears out. That was what they did with Lauren Landau. Broncos brought in some guy that did fellowships at Stedman Hopkins or John Hopkins, whatever, and he was going to he did a fellowship in how to prevent knee injuries, and they did all this stuff to prevent knee injuries and this and that, and I can't recall a team in the Broncos history during the years Lauren Landau was here, they were always hurt. Because now the Broncos, for a while there, when they were in the dumps, it was like, well, if they could just stay healthy, which is what we're saying about the Nuggets now, right? Well, if Aaron Gordon and Payton Watson and if they can just stay healthy, when the reality is, with all this load management and all that stuff, I don't think it's any better. You mentioned fantasy football. That's why I hate fantasy football. You cannot draft a fantasy football team and not constantly be dealing with the fact that 1, 2, 3, or 4 of your best players that you staked your team on, they're continually hurt. It's maddening. I think people get hurt more in sports now maybe than ever before.
Even if they're not hurt, other guys take the amount of touchdowns getting stolen by backup running backs drives me crazy.
Yeah, by the way, why are people saying that? Well, we're over the top here. People are trying to say R.J. Harvey stole touchdowns or whatever. Yeah, that was part of our conversation yesterday. Why is R.J. Harvey so overlooked? All right, coming up next, are we going to owe Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke, myself included, are we all going to owe them a big, fat apology? We'll get to that coming up next.
The Rockies aren't winning the West, but they might be one of the most fun teams in baseball now. Rookie TJ Rumfield is raking. Hunter Goodman's launching homers at a rate that has all-star voters and trade deadline scouts paying attention. Mickey Moniak is back healthy, and Sensatella's having a career year out of the bullpen. The trade deadline's August 3rd. Who stays? Who goes? What's the new front office building toward? Denver Sports is all over it. Denver Sports 104.3, The Fan.
Jacob's Law, 303-LAW-4040. That's 303-LAW-4040. I know a couple things in life really, really stink. A few things. Losing half your roster to injuries in fantasy football, that stinks. Having to call a lawyer stinks. But getting hurt in an accident stinks. And then after you get into an accident, having to deal with insurance companies and lost time at work and getting healthy and all that stuff, that all stinks. Probably the worst. That's why we're here. We're here to help at 303-LAW-4040 and Jacob's Law. We're going to help make the process a little bit easier. You give us a call. You speak directly with me or my lovely wife, Kimberly, and we talk about your case. And if it makes sense, we just have you come in. We sit down. We'll spend a little bit of time with you in person, get to know you, and come up with a plan to get you feeling better so you can focus on your recovery while we focus on going and getting you fair compensation. I know nobody wants to sue anybody, and that doesn't make you a bad person for calling us. All you're doing is looking for help. We'll fight for you so you can fight to get better with your injuries. 303-LAW-4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303-LAW-4040.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that Honey Pepper Pimento Sandwich.
And that Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Joint pain is awful when you're the person who is fighting through it, but I'm betting you aren't the only ones affected. Maybe you love someone who struggles with joint pain. You see it. You see what they don't say, what they've slowly stopped doing. It's July. The days are long. The light hangs around. Time to be outside, moving, playing, living, and you're sitting it out. Hey, it's Mike Evans. Let's talk about getting that life back, because at QC Kinetics, that's what's happening every day. People who are stuck in that cycle of pain in their hips, knees, shoulders, and back, they're finally stepping out of it with regenerative treatments done right in their office. No surgery, long recovery, or putting life on hold. Just real relief. The inflammation eases and the pain lets go. We hear it all the time, not just from patients, but from the people around them. He's back. She's herself again. So if this sounds like you or someone you love, go find out what's possible. QC Kinetics offers a free consultation to see if you're a candidate. Call 303-900-8986, 303-900-8986, with locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and The Springs. It's QC Kinetics.
There's a difference between the cameras you buy at Home Depot and the cameras Vantage installs. Consumer cameras give you a grainy silhouette. Vantage cameras can read a license plate at the end of your driveway with full color night vision, 24/7 recording, and no monthly subscription fees, so you never miss a thing. Invest in real security for your home. Schedule a free Vantage Threat Zone Analysis report for your property. Call Vantage at 720-366-7759 or visit VSSIColorado.com today.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the honor.
Love that song. That's
we are on the doorstep of 40 consecutive minutes.
Thanks to a listener for suggesting that song, City of New Orleans by Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, man, he's just got some pipes. My favorite Willie Nelson anecdote is, I think Chad Andrus is the one that told me that. So Willie would go out and play, he owned a golf course. And every year, or every day, he'd go out and play his golf course. And somebody asked him, well, how'd you do today, Willie? What'd you shoot? He goes, well, I shot par. And I was like, wow, at your age, that's tremendous. You shot par. He's like, well, yeah, it's my golf course. So whatever I shoot is par. So par wasn't 72. Par was whatever Willie shot that day. So I love that. Hi, on the Shop Honda YouTube chat. Hi, Honorable Judge Dan. First time seeing you live. Been listening for years. I always imagined you did a show wearing a judge robe and a powdered wig. Oh, well, I enjoy your show anyway. Thank you, sir. Another one. Just wanted to let you know that I listen almost every Saturday and Sunday. Don't always agree, but I do always enjoy both the good and the dumb. Don't talk about Joe and James Maryland like that. They're not dumb. Did you know?
Yeah, come on, man. I'm right here.
Yeah. No, I'm just. Hey, thanks. Yes, and thanks you for jumping on YouTube. We need to show the powers that be that you guys are out there listening, and one of the easiest free ways to do that is to pull us up on YouTube. So we appreciate that on the Shop Honda YouTube chat line. Cole from Arvada says, thanks for working on the 4th, Dan. I appreciate you. Happy 4th. I'm smoking some ribs for my daughter's 4th birthday. Well, happy birthday to Cole's daughter. Appreciate that. And yeah, if you're out there, we can do like I was the leader of the tribe for the last couple days. If you want to, if you're out there working, making a buck, you want to check in, we can do a kind of like an extended tribe roll call. I mean, they're stealing my stuff on their show now, apparently, as far as the trying to steal my signature bit.
So let's just call them something else. Should we call our listeners like the ladies and gentlemen of the court, or like the jury?
We call them the jury.
Like that.
Well, I think would be even funnier if we didn't call it the tribe, but we called it the what's another word for tribe, right? Like the not posse, but something closely related to tribe.
The village.
Yeah, the village or whatever, the villagers or whatever. I think that would be funny. Yeah, you guys out there working. By the way, no suggestions. I'm going over to the Pelini Mansion later today. I'm going to bring some Deer Trail Meat Co. stuff with me, but anything else? Should I was thinking about either, the adult baked beans or maybe some armadillo eggs. Just something to say, yeah, I'm here. I ain't coming.
How about the clan?
What'd you say?
We could be like the Clan McLeod,
No,
Actually, you know what? The Clan, that's a bad idea.
That was a very bad idea. As soon as you said it, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, are you trying to one-up yourself from yesterday with the Check Your X segment? Everybody, we're the Clan. Get in the Clan. No, I see where you were going with it. Somebody's slanging barbecue at Rolling Smoke in Wheat Ridge till 5 o'clock. God bless you, sir. God bless you, serving up the barbecue here on Independence Day. Your buddy Lee, the amputees out there are listening as well. Thanks, Lee. All right, so wanted to get into this. I have to at least consider that we may, myself included. Well, wait a minute. Will I owe them a big fat apology? No, actually, I don't. Now that I'm thinking this position out more, I will be probably the one person that will not owe the Rockies an apology, even if they run it back. Because I don't think they should. I think it's irresponsible to waste that type of money on a team that's not really a contender, right? Like a team that could not get out of the first round last year to just run it back. But let's say they do. Let's say they just can't figure it out. And they go into the luxury tax and they say, because it's intriguing to me, the story that you can see on DenverSports.com about apparently Jamal Murray maybe not being untouchable, but they really want to do everything they can to keep Jamal Murray, makes me believe that maybe they are willing to go into the tax. Maybe they do think they were just some injuries away from being an actual contender. So if they do run into the tax, does everybody that said they're cheap and they don't spend money, because by the way, I'm not one of those people. Like I criticize the Cronkies when I think it's fair and it's warranted. I think there is kind of a misconception,
both,
that the Cronkies won't spend money. And I really just don't think that's accurate. I think that in certain areas they won't spend money. Like, for example, and by the way, I don't even disagree with them on this. One of the chief criticisms I've heard people level at the Cronkies is, the poor Avs have to practice at family sports where you can get a bucket of nachos, play some laser tag, and then go over and watch the Avalanche do a practice. Yeah, it's a little embarrassing, but what are the Cronkies going to get out of dropping millions of dollars on a practice facility that nobody goes to except for the players? Like, why would he do that? Right? So, but they say, well, they're too cheap. It's embarrassing. All right, well, it's their money. Does that help the team get any better? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't think that's their chief concern. I think their chief concern is making money. Another criticism that is leveled at them is that, well, they're just cheap. They won't pay. Well, they spend up to or over the salary cap in their respective sports, right? The problem with the Nuggets last year, well, actually the last 3 years, is not that they didn't spend any money. They spent $20 million in luxury taxes the 2 seasons prior to last year. And then they by the way, this was the smart thing to do. They just got under the luxury threshold this past season to avoid the repeater tax, which I think was a very smart, savvy move. So this notion that they just won't pay players is not true. Why do you think they're in the trouble they're in right now? It's not that they weren't willing to pay. It's that the people that they trusted to construct rosters weren't good enough at it. They were kind of like, you know how we play Madden and you like to build a team with Madden. You're like, well, I'll trade for this guy and I'll trade for that guy and we'll have a superstar team. And it's fun because you can see if you could start with a team that has X amount of resources and you can build an all-star team by the end of the year. And they're all great players, right? But that doesn't mean, now, of course, we'll win the championship in Madden because that's easy to do. But in reality, it doesn't mean that it's a good fit. That's a good chemistry.
Yeah, like, do you know how many touchdowns I've thrown to Lil Jordan Humphrey in Madden, Dan? So many.
A lot, I bet. A lot. But the point is, just because they spend the money doesn't mean they're spending it wisely. And I do hear you. I know the response we get now is, well, maybe they're not cheap with players, but they're cheap with GMs and coaches. Okay, well, maybe that's a fair assessment. There is some validity to that. Although I will say the Tim Connolly thing, I think, is a little overblown. If you want to say, how's it, Masai Ujiri?
Masai Ujiri.
Yeah, Masai Ujiri. That's 100% fair because they just let him walk over money. Tim Connolly is a little bit different, right? Because it's my understanding, Joe, he got a piece of the team. He got ownership.
Yeah, he got a lot. And also, I would argue, with Tim Connolly still here, do we get the Will Barton trade for KCP, that final piece that really helped kind of complete the roster, and you don't have Will Barton out there chucking up shots within 3 seconds? Tim Connolly loved Will Barton. I don't know if he makes that move.
That's a fair point. So this constant belly aching over, well, you let a guy leave when you won a championship. Well, first off, he wanted ownership, which he's not entitled to ownership. Good for him that he got it, but I don't blame the Cronkies for not giving him ownership. By the way, you won the championship right after he left. Like you saying, Joe, maybe in large part because they got rid of one of his flaws. And by the way, Ujiri went on and won a championship. Tim Connolly, his biggest claim to fame since leaving the Nuggets is beating the Nuggets. It's not like he's winning championships or going to the NBA Finals.
Well, Dan, he said his goal was to build a roster to beat the Nuggets, and look what
good
he did.
Job, great job. Was that what he was hired to do? Just to beat the Nuggets?
It's like Ohio State. All you got to do is beat Michigan. That's it.
Yeah. So, all right. I'll pick on Mike Evans because he's the one that I hear loudest arguing for this on the station. Just run it back. Just pay them. It doesn't matter that they can't play. Just pay them. Oh, okay. So if they do, are we going to hear these guys with a big fat apology for the Cronkies? And is everybody going to say, you know what, we were wrong? They're great guys, and they're willing to spend whatever it takes to win championships.
Of course not. You're going to get the whole, this roster was never good enough to win, and why did we bring them all back for more money?
I know. That's why I find myself in the odd position of defending the Cronkies, and that's why I won't owe an apology, because I don't believe they should. Okay, forget that Chad wanted to disagree with me about Jamal Murray. We fundamentally agree that Jamal Murray is not going to be a vital part of future success for the Denver Nuggets, like championship success. The Nuggets are going to have some success, but they're just not going to win a title with Jamal Murray. Chad and I agree on that. Okay, so we agree on that. So why would you make him a part? Why would you pay all that money and keep, like Joe, you and I were talking about yesterday, keep yourself in the repeater tax threshold so you stay in it longer, because now it takes longer to reset how long you've been, because the repeater tax kicks in when you've gone over the threshold in 3 out of 4 seasons. If they skip it this year, if they find a way to get under this year, well, then they're okay. Then it completely resets, because they'll only be over in 1 year out of the last 3. So they can have more flexibility in the following year, right? Because the repeater tax is really what kills you. I mean, it's just insane. So why would they spend that money? One, it's just setting money on fire for a team. It's just, Joe, this is where I'm getting my mind boggled. Do we not remember? Are our memories so short?
It's mind-boggling.
Are we so World Cup crazy or something that we don't remember that the Nuggets lost to the Timberwolves team, that they were all, nobody thought there was going to be it was supposed to be a walk in the park, and then they lost 3 of their best scorers, and including a top 10 NBA player, Anthony Edwards.
I'd argue top 5.
Top 5. See, I asked somebody else, and no, he's not top 5, but he could be top 5. Anthony Edwards is incredible.
He might be number 5, but that's still top 5.
Yeah. So they lost to that team. By the way, they lost a game. What was it with Game 5? Like Game 5, they should have come back and won, and I think that was the game that Anthony Edwards went out, right?
Well, Game 5 is the game that they did win. It was Game 4 that Anthony Edwards went out and they got wrecked because it went to 6 games.
Okay, all right. So Game 4, they should have won, and then it would have been completely different. But like you would think a team would be lobbied or buoyed by the fact that they're in a tight game, they're the better team, and Anthony Edwards just went out. You should be able to, have the mental toughness or fortitude or whatever it takes to get that job done. It was humiliation. So why would you run it back? It seems like we're just kind of glossing it over. Or the fact that they get humiliated routinely when they exit the playoffs since the championship. What, 4 years ago now, right? It was 5 years ago for the Avs, 4 years ago for the Nuggets, three seasons ago. Like, they don't just lose, they get blown out. Like in these decision games, and oftentimes in the games, like, so was it against the Timberwolves? It was 2 games in a row, right? Like, they got destroyed in Game 6 and then blew a 20-point lead at home in Game 7. Like, that's bad. That's a cultural foundational problem, just like the Broncos had for years when they didn't have the right leadership and the right like John Elway's like, we're just going to Band-Aid this thing and we'll be right back to the Super Bowl. No, because the whole thing that was cracking at the foundation. The Nuggets foundationally are not constructed where they're going to win championships. So why would we want to run it back? And it's looking like they may. Now, I know the big thing that we've been really excited about, now things have died down just a little bit, but this LeBron fever swept through the station on what must have been, Wednesday, right? Because the odds went through the roof with the drive and all that stuff, so they were very, very excited.
Yes, Wednesday. Also, the longer it takes, does that mean the Nuggets have a better chance because something must be falling through with the other better options?
Could be. It could be what Chad said was true. He already knows where he's going, but it's not playing out as planned. That could be. So we had a chance to visit with our own Scrappy Will Peterson yesterday. For those of you that were not able to listen, I thought it was worthy of a good listen. So we'll check in with Will again here right now.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Happy 250th birthday, America. In Today for Dover and Cecil, here's Dan Jacobs.
The Taylor Swift in honor of our next guest, Scrappy Will Peterson. Trouble in his own right. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Dan. It's crazy that it's America's 250th birthday and also Mike Evans' 250th birthday.
Ha! Today's his birthday, too?
I don't know. I wanted to take a little jab at Mike. Mike and I got a little beef right now.
Oh, what's the beef? I want to hear.
Oh, it's all fun. It's all good, but it's just Mike was sick on Tuesday. I filled in for him, which I was happy to, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Wednesday, I had texted Mike on Tuesday, and I'd said, hey, if you're going to need me Wednesday, you got to let me know at night, because a normal person doesn't wake up at 4:30 in the morning if you're not feeling good. And, of course, I wake up at 7 on Wednesday morning, got a couple missed calls from Mike, got a voicemail, got a couple texts. So I'm like, uh-oh, he doesn't feel good again, even though I tried to warn him, Mike, if you don't feel good, you have to tell me the night before. And then I called him during one of the breaks because I said, Mike, I can get in the shower. I can be there by 8, whatever, if you want to switch off. And he, oh, no, Will, I'm all good. But you should have seen these texts at 4:30 in the morning, Dan. Mike was feeling a little sorry for himself.
So he was trying to call in sick, and you ghosted him? Is that?
Well, Dan, were you up at 4:30 in the morning? No, this is why I tried to warn Mike, we need to settle this the night before. And here's what happened. He woke up. It was dark out. He was going into a holiday weekend. His throat hurt. He didn't feel like he could go do talking for 4 hours. And then, of course, once he, got up and moving, he was fine, and the show sounded great. And then he did Mark's podcast afterwards.
Well,
so
it did
everything
not.
was all good.
First off, it did not sound great because I heard you guys smashing on him the day before, saying he was playing golf or something, and he wasn't really sick. And then I heard him the next day, and he sounded like he'd been gargling glass. He did not sound great. Now, the other thing is, no, I am not. I used to be up at 4:30. I haven't been lately, but my perception of you, Scrappy Will Peterson, is you're like our own you and Jake and maybe Anilo or our little Adam Schefters, where you're glued to your phones because you are the guardians of DenverSports.com, and you never stop working. You never put your phone down. You're always dealing with the insiders, and that on any moment, day or night, you should be ready to go. Am I wrong?
I see what you're getting at, and I appreciate that. I think that was a compliment. I think if I heard you correctly,
it was like a Zach by compliment. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I do put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and, I think waking up at 7 is pretty reasonable. It's when most of the country wakes up. So I was not glued to my phone when Mike was texting me at 4:37 a.m. about how his throat hurt. I said, Mike, if you just should have told me this the night before, you should have taken the day off, and none of this would have happened. But to his credit, he is a warrior. He is a battler, and he did get through the 4-hour show. I'm sorry that he sounded like he was gargling glass, though. Maybe next time he'll just take the day off.
All right, I love it. By the way, I do appreciate your jab at him as well. I love it. I love the beef. Because that's what. It's funny. Everybody loves you, Will. All of us, you're universally liked on the station, but we also love giving you a hard time every single chance we get. So that's kind of the beauty of the whole situation with Scrappy Will. Now,
I tell people real quick, you can't work at a sports talk radio station unless you're willing to take some heat. Like it kind of has a locker room feel to it. And honestly, our jobs are pretty public, so a lot of it makes the airwaves and is public. And you got to have pretty thick skin to work where we work.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I wanted to get to some Avs before we get out of here as well. But your latest, we were all excited. Zach updating the odds. In fact, I heard you come on saying you had been watching the odds, but you didn't realize they had gone so far through the roof throughout the day on LeBron James coming here. Talk seemed to, or at least excitement has seemed to cool. The odds have also seemed to cool on LeBron coming here. Your thoughts on LeBron coming here, and if he doesn't come here, what the heck are we going to do?
Well, I think the biggest thing, Dan, and people can read about this at Denver, be on the board if they weren't. So it's like, oh, okay, you're doing a whiteboard, you're doing a podcast. I get it. This is like the decision, 3.0, really. You had the first decision when he went to Miami, the second decision, I guess, going back to Cleveland, third one to L.A., maybe it's decision 4.0. You understand what I'm saying. They are marketing geniuses. They are getting every last drop out of this that they can, but again, people need to go watch it. People need to hear it. Rich Paul flat out says Denver would not be on the board. I would not be talking about the Nuggets unless they were a potential destination for LeBron. So I'm with you. It felt like it maybe cooled off a little bit, but then this morning with Rich Paul saying that, I think it got another spark.
You know, it reminds me of that thing in Kingpin when the guy's smoking cigarettes and Ishmael says, oh, those aren't safe. He goes, who do you think has done more research into the situation than the good folks at the American Tobacco Association? Why would they lie to you? If you die, they can't sell cigarettes. That's what you sound like.
Keck to get a meeting in 18, and LeBron blew him off and went to L.A., which was clearly a mistake. If he had come to Denver, he and Nikola would have, 3-4 rings together. But maybe in 2026, it's finally the time that LeBron James wears the Nuggets uniform.
Okay, last thing for you. What if they don't get LeBron? What the heck happens then with all the cap and the tax and the second apron and trying to get Watson back, all that stuff? Do we have a reason to be extremely worried if they don't get LeBron?
Oh, yeah. I think all the eggs are in the LeBron basket at this point. I mean, this is not, just sports talk radio banter. This is legitimate. The Nuggets have reached out to LeBron James. LeBron James's camp and representation is saying they are actively considering the Denver Nuggets. It is all about LeBron. And remember, Payton Watson, clutch sports guy as well, you got to find a way to re-sign him, and then you got to sign LeBron on the minimum. Because if Watson leaves and you don't get LeBron, you're clearly a worse team. And if Watson comes back and you don't get LeBron, it's kind of blah again. You'll win another 50-ish games, and then you'll lose in the first round. So, no, I don't have another plan, Dan. Like, I wish I could tell you, well, if you don't get LeBron, you could do X, Y, and Z. I mean, I thought they should have traded for Jaylen Brown, especially when the price was only Paul George. The Nuggets certainly could have had him if they wanted him. I think Jaylen Brown, for whatever reason, isn't well-liked around the NBA, even though he finished 6th in NBA MVP voting. So, to quote John Elway, there's no plan B, Dan. It's LeBron or bust for the Denver Nuggets.
We're going with LeBron. All right. Hey, these segments always go way too quick. We'll have to have you on again soon because I wanted to talk about the Avalanche. I actually really like, so far at least, I don't know if it's going to pan out, but I like the approach that Joe Sakic is taking. At some point, I want to get your thoughts on that as well. I mean, I know you've already put it on DenverSports.com, but I would love to chat with you again with that sometime here in the near future. Thank you so much, Scrappy Will Peterson.
Yeah, of course, Dan. I like talking about Jaden Schwartz as well, but LeBron James, unfortunately, does trump Jaden Schwartz with the Avalanche.
Well, I was thinking more of addition by subtraction with Val. And all
okay,
that stuff,
I got you. Your boy Nichushkin no longer plays here.
I know. He's sad. By the way, I was going to give you a hard time about that. Complicated legacy with Val Nichushkin, says Scrappy Will. They're not very complicated. But anyway, we'll have to do that later.
He won a Stanley Cup and then maybe derailed a dynasty. That's the definition of complicated.
Well, if he derailed the dynasty, it's not complicated. It was a disaster. That's all. See?
Yeah, but they don't win the Cup in 22 without him. They don't win the Cup in 22.
I agree with you on that. All right, we'll have to continue this conversation later. Thanks so much, Scrappy Will.
Thanks, Dan. Talk to you soon.
All right, that's Scrappy Will Peterson. You want to react to anything he had to say? Your chance coming up next.
The Nuggets summer is heating up, and the biggest questions are still on the table. Will Nikola Jokic sign an extension or keep Denver holding its breath? Could a blockbuster Jamal Murray trade reshape the roster? And with Payton Watson hitting restricted free agency, what does the core look like moving forward? Stay locked in. Denver Sports has you covered all offseason long. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. It's the 4th of July. Everybody's out grilling now. I'll let you ask yourself this. How much did you have to shell out to get the meat for your grill? Probably a whole bunch of money, especially if you got beef. That's one of the beautiful things about DeerTrailMeatCo.com. Probably going to head over to my buddy JJ's house later. I got an invite from him yesterday. Of course, I don't want to show up empty-handed, so I'm just going to go to the freezer and get some Deer Trail Meat Co. stuff. I didn't have to spend any ridiculous amounts of money for it. They delivered it right to my front house with a money-back guarantee. Got some jalapeno cheddar sausage, got some tomahawk steaks. Going to bring those over. It's going to be a wonderful holiday, and I didn't have to break the bank for it. The same thing can happen with you. Go to the website, check it out, see what it's all about, see what it'll cost you, see what bundle you want to get, and then they're going to deliver that to your front door with a money-back guarantee. You're going to thank me for it. I promise you will. DeerTrailMeatCo.com. That is DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
This 4th of July will be different than any other. Because this 4th of July, we have more things to be grateful for than ever. My name is Glenn Jameron. I'm president of Alpine Bank, member FDIC. Yes, we've all been going through some rough times. But this 4th of July, we can be thankful for the freedom we enjoy as Americans. We can be thankful for our families, for our children's future. We can be thankful for our friends and neighbors, for being alive. Here at Alpine Bank, we're thankful for the terrific employee owners we have. And most of all, we're thankful for one person who makes our job the best in the world. That person is you.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Spine One. Let me ask you a question. You live with back pain, neck pain? Well, my guys at Spine One, they're an emergency room for back pain with same-day appointments. They'll see you and they'll get the journey started. And that's exactly what I did. Whether it's chronic pain, acute pain, work-related, sports-related, doesn't matter. All you got to do is pick up the phone and start your journey just like I did toward pain-free. 303-367-2225. That's 303-367-BACK. Or as always, you can find them online at spineone.com.
Legacy means tomorrow matters. Hi folks, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Home Improvements. Tomorrow, next week, next month, 10 years from now matters. My wife Susan and I started Done Right in our garage in 1985, and our family has always been focused on legacy. What we do, how we do it, how we treat people matters. As a result, we've grown to be one of the largest companies of our kind in Colorado, specializing in kitchens, baths, counters, floors, finished basements, windows, and doors. Here's our son Todd.
Dad, doing what's right shapes all of our projects. Whether a first-class kitchen renovation, a turnkey bathroom remodel, a full-service basement finish, or new windows and doors, we'll wow you with your project, your experience, and with an 8% scheduling incentive and a special financing rate of 0% APR with 72 equal monthly payments. Now couldn't be a better time. Dad?
Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors, finished basements, windows, and doors. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right. Reserve your spot. Go to drhi.com. Thanks for listening.
So this is Todd Whalen. I'm here with Deanna, an Advanced Tax Solutions client. How did Advanced Tax Solutions fix your problem?
They solved the tax years where I had made errors. They filed the years that I was delinquent in, and they helped me make a payment plan with the IRS.
How does it feel now that the problem is fixed?
Amazing. As a matter of fact, we use Advanced Tax every year for our regular filing, and I just have a huge sense of relief knowing that that part of adulting is done for me.
Now, how do you feel about the staff of Advanced Tax Solutions?
The staff have always been kind, considerate, and caring. I feel like I'm the only customer when I'm there.
Any advice for anybody out there listening?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. The people at Advanced Tax will not judge you. They're there to help, and they're there to listen. Reach out before it's too late.
Thank you so much, Deanna. We'd love to help anyone out there listening. It's Advanced Tax Solutions, 303-753-6040.
Don't miss the Tree Farm's Array of Tree Sale, now through July 14th. See what's on sale at thetreefarm.com. Save 25 to 45% on thousands of 3 to 8-year-old shade and flowering trees. Choose from honey locust, linden, maple, oak, flowering crabapple, serviceberry, willow, and more. And save big on thousands of shrubs and perennials. The Array of Tree Sale. Come see.
You take I-25 to exit 235, then 5 miles west to the Tree Farm.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports 105.
Well, do you know what country that Bruce Springsteen was born in, Dan?
I don't.
I'm glad that he has a song to tell us his country of origin.
I thought it was a trick question.
It could be Canada. I don't know.
Born in the USA. Yeah. All right. Well, happy 4th of July to everyone out there. It's funny. I asked for the help from I almost said the tribe, to see what type of side dish or delicacy I should, just mocking them. So instead of calling ourselves the tribe, it will be X, whatever, like almost it's just a complete ripoff. And you guys have responded to that on the Champond chat line. Daniel Grajeda-C30 says the Law and Order crew. Billy Humans 1486 says the alternate jurors. We have the judge and jury. So a lot of stuff relating to the jury, which is, that's kind of apropos because there is sort of a little kinship between the jury and the judge, right? It's not a close relationship because there's got to be impartiality, but there is always like a little bit of a relationship formed, with the jury. Now, if you do it right, this is actually the philosophy of the late great Jerry Spence, is that he actually does call the jury your tribe, which is funny. So his key to winning your jury trial is you win it in jury selection. And you do that by having an honest discussion with the jury so that they come to trust you and that you can tell your authentic story to of your client. And then you become kind of the leader of their tribe. And so that's actually verbatim their book. So the jury is kind of closely related to the idea of having a tribe. Now, Jerry Spence was, he was not Native American himself, but he loved the Native American culture. And actually, he's very fond of it and donated his entire ranch to it, and donated like hundreds, if not, or I think thousands of acres back to, the name's escaping me, of the tribe that was out there right by his ranch in Wyoming. So he closely identifies with it. And that was his winning strategy, was always be honest and have honest discussions with the jury. And then you'll be bonded together and they'll want you to lead them to the right decision. So,
all right. I think that settles it, Dan.
If
he called the jury the tribe, I think we have now just selected our jury, and it's the Dan Jacobs Show listeners.
Yeah, it's judge and jury. Dan Jacobs Show and his listeners. There we go. All right, they're on that. Now,
can I be the bailiff?
I'm playing a bailiff. So last week after the show, God, man, I don't think I've talked about this. And I don't want to get in trouble. Should I talk about it?
Yeah.
So after the Sunday show, I guess it's a pilot. I don't fully understand what's going on here, but it's kind of like a night court type production. And it's kind of a pilot, but they're doing it different. They're breaking it into multiple short episodes to make up one pilot. So each thing is kind of self-contained, but makes up the pilot. So I had to go. Now, I applied for this. I thought, well, boy, I'm perfect for this because I'm literally a judge, because they need a judge actor in the show. They need some attorneys in the show. I'm like, well, this is tailor-made for me, one of these roles.
I could play a defendant. I would look great, Dan.
I think you would. Yes. I can believe it. By the way, you're going to get a kick out of where we filmed this thing last week. So I apply for the show, and they get back to me. And I did not get cast as a lawyer or a judge, which was a little weird to me. But I got cast as the bailiff. So I'm like, all right, great. I'll do it. Whatever it takes. And so last week after the show, I had to go tape this little mini episode. By the way, it was taped in the back of a mushroom shop right? By the way, you can settle this for us, Joe. My parents were curious. Are the mushrooms psychedelic in those mushroom shops, or are they purely therapeutic?
I think the laws have changed. I know you can buy mushroom growing kits at a lot of those shops and grow your own whatever kind of mushrooms you choose to grow. You choose whether you break the law or not. I don't know if you can get. You might be able to, because I know Breckenridge decriminalized it for a while. So you know what? Maybe.
Okay, because I don't think Jake Plummer is growing this. He's selling the holistic therapeutic ones, right? Like he has a mushroom ranch or farm. I guess it's a farm up north here somewhere. But anyway, that's where it was. So if you walk into one of those shops, so that's what was my question. Are you getting the psychedelic stuff or the therapeutic stuff or both? But I don't know. But anyway, we're filming in the back of this place, and it's a conjugal visit scene, Joe. So this was very odd for me. But not as odd for me as it was for the main actor. You could tell he was just really, really nervous. Now, it really worked out because we didn't actually film any intimacy. It was a joke. Like, we had to set up this joke, right? So I'm playing in this case, I'm not really the bailiff. I'm, I guess, a prison guard. And I'm standing over this conjugal bed with this woman inmate in an orange jumpsuit. And then the guy, I don't even know what this guy's character is. They didn't give me enough context. But he's coming in, and he's going to get this conjugal visit with this inmate, and he has a really conceivably funny line, but he was just nervous. Like, we were all nervous, right? Because we're like, dude, it's a conjugal visit scene, and there's a bed, and there was a dog on the bed, and it was just, there's a woman there. Like, it was...
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, so it was there was a little bit of nervousness, but this guy, the main actor, was super nervous, man. It was fun to gain that experience and interesting to watch, so... so you could be a bailiff, but I think you would get the same thing I did. You would apply for the bailiff and like, dude, you're defendant number 3.
Oh, I'd be on the stand doing the Charles Manson dance. It'd be great.
Yeah. So that settles it. We are the jury, the judge and jury here on the Dan Jacobs Show. It'll be our not so subtle ripoff of Dover and Cecil and their tribe action.
All right, guys, jury roll call. What are you doing for a buck out there?
Right. Want to get a shout out for your business? Now, here's the thing, though. You got to help us out. If you're going to be a part of the jury, you got to help me and Joe out, so we can continue having jobs by logging on to YouTube. And you got to watch the show through YouTube so that they know that you guys are out there listening and that the jury is strong. It's not just 6 or 12 of you. It's hundreds, if not thousands of you out there.
Yes, comment guilty or not guilty whenever somebody makes a take you agree or don't agree with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we like it. We're building something here. We're building something. It's it's been America's hottest new talk show for the last 8 years, but we never stop evolving. The Dan Jacobs Show. So appreciate you guys being out there on the 4th of July. Still open? You want to tell me what I should bring over to the Pelini Mansion? I'll be open to suggestions.
Go get one of those mushroom grow kits, Dan. You'll be the life of the party.
Yeah, I heard that was a little dangerous, though, by the way. My sister was saying, you can get those grow kits, but you could also die.
I would imagine so. Also, somebody texted in saying it is legal to grow them, but not to sell them.
The psychedelic ones.
The jury has responded.
Okay, thank you, jury. Thank you, juror number 5. We appreciate that. All right, so coming up next, this notion that maybe we were just a couple bad breaks away from winning the NBA championship last year, so why not just run it back with the Denver Nuggets? That's live on DenverSports.com. We'll get into that coming up next.
The countdown is on. Broncos training camp is less than a month away. Rookies report July 22nd. Veterans hit Broncos Park powered by Common Spirit on the 28th. Bo Nix is expected back at full speed. Sean Payton skipping joint practices to maximize every rep. And it all builds toward a season opener on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. From camp battles to kickoff, Denver Sports has you covered. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
Jacobs Law, 303 Law 4040, 303 Law 4040. Now, we say save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. We had a funny story with that because a lot of times people will do that and they'll call us accidentally. Well, the first time that happened, we called somebody back and they go, oh, sorry, we were just saving the number in our phone. And we said, well, what, do you need a lawyer? And he goes, yeah, but I went with you-know-who last time and I'd had a bad experience, and so I might just try and do it myself. And we said, well, what's the insurance company telling you? And they said, well, they've offered me like $3,000. And we said, well, tell you what, if we can't get you double or at least triple $3,000, we'll take the case for free. Now, I can't do that for everybody, but in that case, they said, all right, fine, we'll sign you up. And we got them signed up, and I think we got them like $25,000 or $45,000 or something like that. I understand you don't want to call a lawyer, but it really is in your best interest, if you've been injured, to give us a call. We'll come up with a plan. There's no pressure. There's no obligation. We don't get paid unless we get money on your behalf. So go ahead, save that number in your phone. I hope you never need it, but the reality is accidents do happen. So save that number in your phone, 303-LAW-4040.
Don't care for my local hometown team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Don't get fooled by out-of-state private equity corporations that are buying local HVAC companies, offering higher prices, bad service, and shady sales tactics. Don't trust your home to someone out of state when you have the best company right here in town. ROX are experts in local energy rebates and tax credits to save you money only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
When you've been hurt after a traumatic car crash, you don't need a sales pitch from an attorney with big promises and a loud voice. You need a team who fights for real results fast. That's why so many across the country choose the Berg Simpson Law Firm. Berg Simpson is nationally recognized, but is local right here in Colorado. So give us a call and let our team fight for the results you deserve today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Welcome to Whatever Bank. How may I barely help you today?
Hi, is there an option to open a checking account with no monthly fees?
0 monthly fees? I'm afraid not. Just think of the fee as a subscription to your own money.
You don't have to bank like that. Make the switch to Key Bank to open a Key Smart checking account with no monthly maintenance fees.
Ooh, I like that.
Learn more at key.com/keysmartchecking.
KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank, member FDIC.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
At Siltahar Motors, Ford and Lincoln employee pricing wraps up on July 6th. If it's been on your list, now's the time. You pay what Ford employees pay on hundreds of new vehicles, thousands off sticker, no negotiating. The price is the price. Employee pricing won't last, but Siltahar always has something great coming. 66 years of finding ways to take care of Colorado. See all that is available at sthmotors.com, Highway 36 and Wadsworth. Siltahar Motors. Get everything you want out of a dealership.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports 104.3.
Like as if there's a good song, oftentimes I'll get credit either on the Sean Honda YouTube chat line or on the RamosLaw.com text line. I'll get credit, but like, nice poll, thanks for playing this. And I have absolutely you would think my name's on the show. It's literally the Dan Jacobs Show. You would think I would have some sort of input into the music choice. And the answer is no. In fact, I think management frowns upon that for some reason. I don't know why. But I think they do. They frown upon it. So I have little to no influence. Joe gets to pick the music for the show. Sean Boyd picks it on Sundays. Whoever's working behind the glass, they do the music picking, which I'm quick to point out if somebody's unhappy with it. I I don't shy away from the credit when it's good, and I assign blame when it's bad. But Joe's like, oh man. So I said, Joe, just make sure you pick some patriotic songs for the every bumper music here today. And he was just saying, I heard him say, hey, oh man, what's a good America song? And I'm like, hey, what about Coming to America, Neil Diamond?
And I had about 45 seconds to pick the song and find the spot where he actually says "Coming to America."
Yes.
And it worked out great, Dan.
You did a great job. Great job.
Thanks, man.
I don't care what Lee the amputee says. You're doing a fine job.
Man, I'm actually doing pretty good.
Yes. Now, by the way, just real quick, if you want kind of a trippy mind trip, go watch, speaking of Neil Diamond, because that was Neil Diamond, correct? So there's this show that came out, movie, that came out with...
Is this the Hugh Jackman one?
Hugh Jackman. It's literally called, what's it called?
Song Sung Blue.
Song Sung Blue. And that movie, and it's got Kate Hudson in it. It was awfully well done. And it blew, it was one of those things you go to watch it. And my wife wanted to watch it, and I wasn't sure, but I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we go to watch it. And it's just one of those movies that you're thinking about it in the shower the next day, right? It's just really got you thinking about stuff. And then you realize at the end of the movie, it says based on the documentary Song Sung Blue about these two people that were real.
I've been thinking about it a lot in the shower.
And so then I go, well, the next week I say, honey, why don't we watch that documentary? That will blow your mind. So if you got time to kill today, just watch both. It will blow your mind. The accuracy, like it's almost like, because a lot of times they had artistic license and this wasn't true or that wasn't true, but they're trying to honor the spirit of the story when they do a movie, but it's nowhere near reality. This was like dead on. And it was fascinating. It was very fascinating, this story. So if you have time to kill, Song Sung Blue, I will recommend that. All right, so I want to go. Yeah, by the way, you were pointing this out, Joe. People getting behind this jury thing, they're assigning themselves juror badges. Is that correct?
I love this. Yeah. Can I be juror number 69?
Joe, man, your mind in the gutter this week, man. In the gutter. So yeah, Judge. Oh, I like this. Judge, I'm kind of partial to either beef Wellington or a Chateaubriand. I couldn't even barely read it, let alone make it. Chateaubriand? I thought it was like a typo. I thought it was like talking about charcuterie. So yeah, hey, that was my running joke with my wife. I'm the cook in the family. When we got married, I would always say, honey, I come home from work. I'm like, hey, whip me up some beef Wellington, which is one time it actually did happen. Judge, they are the tribe. You are the honorables. That's from Lion Steve. Somebody else says, love the jury. What else is going on here? Oh, somebody talking about the mushrooms, functional medicinal mushrooms. Oh yeah. So talking about Jake Plummer, I guess since Jake and I are so tight, as we talked about on Dover and Cecil yesterday, why don't I give him a jury shout out here for his company? Jake apparently, according to the text line, Mike says he operates Myco Love Farm in Fort Lupton. He sells functional medicinal mushrooms. Well, yeah. See, we were talking about that yesterday. Jake Plummer is a fascinating guy. Which, by the way, I thought was also a fun conversation to have yesterday because James was on and he floated the idea that Russell Wilson was a top 5 quarterback in Broncos history.
I was wrong about Russ.
And you had to think about it for a second because, well, we've been blessed to have two of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. And so that took up 20 years out of the, 50 years of the franchise or something like that. By the way, nobody mentioned Drew Lock at all yesterday, as he wasn't even. The AI chatbot didn't bring. By the way, Super Bowl champion Drew Lock got no love on the discussion yesterday as top 5 quarterback. But we had to really look at it just to be certain, because I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe he is, because have the Broncos even had 5 really good quarterbacks? And the answer is not really. But then you look at the numbers and you just can't. You can't say that a guy that was 11-19, led the league in sacks one year, had to get benched and cut for the largest contract dead money scheme in the history of the NFL. He never had a winning season. A guy that's never had a winning season. There's just no argument. There's no argument that he was in two disastrous years here. Even if you looked at the 1 year where he had decent on paper numbers, but not great on paper numbers.
But even then, a lot of those numbers were inflated by him just throwing it up to Cortland Sutton, because we know that's what the only thing Cortland Sutton does extremely well is catch a deep jump ball. So Russ just did that and got, I don't know how many extra yards.
I can tolerate a lot of things in this life, Joe. What I cannot tolerate is you disparaging a kind, decent, and great American in Cortland Sutton to say that he's a one-trick pony. And you didn't say he was a malcontent, did you? I will not put up with you disparaging Cortland Sutton.
There's two things I can't stand in this world, Dan. It's people that are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch, to quote Austin Powers Goldmember.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
What I did for an acting lesson was I did what's the name? Ron Peterson, the guy from
Ron Perlman.
Perlman. Yeah, is that not the guy from Parks and Rec? He's the libertarian guy.
Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson. So you have to kind of do these dialogues, for these acting classes and things like that. So I had do you think I can I remember it?
Breakfast foods are the best foods.
Yes. Okay, let me see here if I can remember the line. It was something along the lines of about doing nothing. Given the chance to do something or do nothing, I'll do nothing. However, if doing something gives somebody else the chance to do nothing, I'll do something. I'll work all night long as it means nothing gets done.
Basically, yeah, he's a libertarian, so he just wants the government to not do anything. So he's like, I want nothing to get done, and I will work tirelessly as long as nothing gets done.
Yes, that's the exact quote. Now, the funny thing about that logic is it's almost contrary to being a libertarian, because our government already gets nothing done, right? They just spend a lot of money getting nothing done, which, by the way, I have a lot of libertarian leanings. We're not getting into politics on the show because it's funny. We've been doing the show together for 8 years. First off, I'm not allowed to talk politics as a active judge. You're not allowed to do that, nor would
That's
I.
Smart.
Nor would I anyway. But every once in a while, I'll just say something philosophically, and I'll get labeled, some hater on the text side will be like, you freaking libtard, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say something else, and then people on the left side will be like, you MAGA jerk. So I get it from both sides when, I'm probably more libertarian than anything. Like I agree, like our government's too big, it's too bloated, we spend too much money, and with less laws. I know it's hard hearing this from a judge or a lawyer, but the less laws, the better. The more freedom, the better.
Do you remember when I said that I didn't like Star Wars The Acolyte, and the texter said that I hated women?
You mean every once in a while the people listen, not the true members of the jury here on the show, but kind of a stray listener may misinterpret what you said?
Oh, it was hilarious. That's one of my favorite stories to tell our boss, Amanda, who runs the entire station, who is a female. One of my funniest times being texted on was the texter said that I hated women because I didn't like a Disney Star Wars show once.
Yeah, and then we kind of had fun with it. We were like making you the stereotypical over-the-top woman hater, the Archie Bunker of the show for a little while there.
Also, the best character on that show was played by Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix, who was a woman.
Okay. All right, I want to, so we have, final hour of the Dan Jacobs Show. We are going to dive back into, what did I have here on the agenda here? The Denver Nuggets. A couple things. What do we want to get to? Because I keep not paying off the tease. I keep teasing this topic and not paying it off. And then also, I want to bring some calm to Nuggets Nation as well. But are the Nuggets secretly NBA title contenders? We just don't know about it. We'll get to that next.
Colton, Drury, and Nichushkin all gone. New faces are already in the fold, with the entire blue line back as well after a Western Conference final sweep that still stings. How will the Avs retool around McKinnon for another cup run? Every trade, every signing, every take. Denver Sports has you covered all summer long. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com. What an honor and a privilege to be talking about this fine American and Colorado local business here on the 4th of July, because grilling meats and preparing good food on holidays is just a the very fiber of America. Now, did you miss a holiday? Did you go through another holiday and say, I wish I would have listened to the judge? I would have called DeerTrailMeatCo.com. I would have gone to DeerTrailMeatCo.com and had everything ready for the holiday. Don't miss the next holiday. What's the next one? Labor Day? Is it Labor Day? Memorial Day? I don't remember. But because, you're putting in the order. They're making it for you fresh. They can't just deliver it to you the next day. They got to, the guys, your order's standing out in a field eating grain. So you got to get in ahead of the game. The way you do that is you go to DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. Pick your bundle. They'll deliver it to your front door at a tremendous savings over the grocery stores. And I know a lot of people are nervous. They're not sure if they're going to like it. You're going to love it. But if you don't, Travis Valine and Deb Valine, the Valine family over at Deer Trail, they'll give you your money back. No questions asked. They'll just give you your money back. You have nothing to lose, everything to save. Tremendous savings over grocery store prices. Check them out, DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
2026 is shaping up to be an amazing year to buy a home in Colorado. If you've been dreaming about getting into your first place, upgrading for more space, or downsizing for a simpler lifestyle, now is a smart time to start planning. And the first step is easy. Get pre-approved. With American Financing, you can get it done in 24 hours or less, so you'll know exactly what you can afford before you start shopping. Rates have been dropping, home prices are steady, and more homes are hitting the market. You could score the right home at the right price and lock in a monthly payment that fits your budget without stretching yourself thin. And unlike renting, every payment you make goes toward your future, not your landlord's. And here's a misconception that they love to bust. You don't need 20% down. Many buyers purchase with as little as 3% down. So if home ownership is on your 2026 goals list, make it happen. Call American Financing, 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
It's a hot spot on your dog's leg that the internet says you can treat it at home. You're not sure though, 'cause now it's oozing.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Ooh, he's licking it. Super gross, dude.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. I thought, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
This 4th of July will be different than any other. Because this 4th of July, we have more things to be grateful for than ever. My name is Glenn Jammeron. I'm president of Alpine Bank, member FDIC. Yes, we've all been going through some rough times, but this 4th of July, we can be thankful for the freedom we enjoy as Americans. We can be thankful for our families, for our children's future. We can be thankful for our friends and neighbors, for being alive. Here at Alpine Bank, we're thankful for the terrific employee owners we have. And most of all, we're thankful for one person who makes our job the best in the world. That person is you.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs.
Wait, what? I never heard that part before. What do you say? Make my gold die refined? I'd never heard that verse before. What are you shaking your head at, Joe? I'm asking you. You're the guy playing.
Either. I don't know.
You never heard it?
I also wasn't listening. I was texting back Brian from Evans.
Okay. All right. Hey, Ray Charles, America the Beautiful. Or that's it, right? America the Beautiful? Awesome song. Good pull, Joe. Good pull. Joe and I were arguing. He's like, man, I really wanted to play the Whitney Houston Star Spangled Banner, which is genius. I love that version. He's like, but it didn't sound too good. I guess whatever you pulled off YouTube, the TV broadcast. I'm like, Joe, there's only one version of that iconic song ever that you could ever find and play?
Yep, nothing else exists, Dan. It's lost media.
It's not in existence. Doesn't exist. No, it's out there. So I'm sure Joe will be efforting that.
Well, not now.
Oh, come on, Joe. Now we expect you. We expect you to do it. By the way, who's our jury foreman?
Come on, Joe.
You think you're a loyal Dan Jacobs Show listener? You're a foreman because every jury has a leader, a foreman, so to speak. So if you think you deserve to be the foreman of the Dan Jacobs Show jury, weigh in there on the Champ Honda YouTube chat. Yep, somebody KWeb1056 says jury member here, 100%. I like it. All right, so a couple things I want to get to with the Denver Nuggets. So on DenverSports.com. This is an article put together by Joey Freeberg, who's one of our digital guys that takes some topics from the other shows and turns them into content that you could read on DenverSports.com. So the headline says, was a healthy Denver Nuggets roster closer to contention than anyone realized? And it goes on to say, on a recent edition of Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth on 104.3 The Fan, Schlereth reframed the entire conversation around a single variable that has been underweighted in the analysis of Denver's season, which is health. The Nuggets weren't the version of themselves anyone expected to see for large stretches of last year. Nikola Jokic missed a chunk of time with 16 games. Aaron Gordon battled physical issues that lingered through the postseason. I wouldn't say lingered into the postseason. They were still there in the postseason, and he basically didn't get a play in the postseason. Payton Watson, so forth. And so Schlereth basically says, are you good enough if you have a healthy Aaron Gordon? Are you good enough if you have a healthy Payton Watson off the bench? Would you be good enough to compete with San Antonio and with the Thunder?
Could you on a boat?
Yeah. I think we're all probably pretty much in agreement. Then the answer is no, you're not good enough. Are you kidding me? Like, if you can't, with your, Aaron Gordon's probably unquestionably your third best player, right? I'm trying to think here. He's your third best player. Okay, so if you can't beat team with your third and sixth best player out, when they have their unquestionable number one best player out and two of their best scorers out, what makes you believe that you're going to beat the surging Spurs or the battle-tested, mentally tough, deep Oklahoma Thunder team, City Thunder team, which, by the way, you lost to last year? Why would you think that? Joe, riddle me this.
I also think, if your argument is that if the Nuggets were healthy, they have a better chance, that's also the problem. They're not deep enough. If two injuries to your two only good defenders, not just your two best defenders, but your only two guys that specialize in defense, and you lose both those guys and all of a sudden you can't beat rookie Terrence Shannon Jr., come on, man.
Yeah, I was mocking the other hosts on the station before the playoffs because it's such a ridiculous notion that, all we have to do is be 100% healthy at every position and we'll be fine.
But Dan, if ifs and buts or candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
And by the way, I think it even goes deeper than that. I don't even if they were healthy, I don't think that they were healthy. Weren't they healthy? No, Aaron Gordon, I guess, was hurt at the end of last year too, but the last 2 games of the season.
Game 7. He was basically unplayable, and that's one of the biggest reasons they got blown out.
But this series wasn't close. They're not close. And that, when you said it's one of the biggest problems, is yes, there has to be a self-reflection, a realization that the chemistry or the construction or the collection of these players And the way they play together with the NBA, the Western Conference is getting better and better. And by the way, the Eastern Conference got better too, right? With the Heat. And the potentially the Sixers. And by the way, the Eastern Conference won the NBA Finals, right? So,
dude, the East was getting a lot better. Kawhi to the Raptors, like you mentioned, Jaylen Brown to the Sixers. Like the East is no longer somebody to laugh at. And by the way, we laughed at the East, and like you mentioned, we lost.
Right, East won. This notion that we could just run it back, or we were good enough, and we just got some bad breaks. One is just not reality. It's sports. We talked about earlier in the show. Despite all the load management and the science and the theories, injuries might be happening more than ever. But they certainly happen. If your only shot at winning a championship is to be completely healthy all the way throughout the playoffs, you got no shot. That's just not going to happen. You just might as well give up. So, but by the way, even if they weren't good enough. They weren't even it's a laughable notion to me that when they got humiliated by the team in the fashion they did against the T-Wolves, who were also, let's just be honest, they were more significantly injured than the Nuggets were. Okay, and you could just say that even if all they had lost was Anthony Edwards, and you had Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon out, you're still at the advantage. Like you would make that trade going into a season or a series. Like, okay, well, if we could take out Ant, but we had to sacrifice Aaron and Peyton, but we still have Jokic and Murray and Tim, all the guys, you would do it, would you not, Joe? Would you not say, yeah, I'll make that trade?
Absolutely. I thought we had a really good chance to come back in that series. And then all of a sudden they just wilted. They got called out in game 2 and didn't win a game until game 5? It drove me crazy.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to get to, because we're going to revisit our conversation with Chad Andrus, where we like to see, he and I, we're of the same cloth. And sometimes it's off-putting to people because we just love to argue. Chad and I pretty much agree like 99%. Like the fundamental problems we absolutely agree on, but we'll find a way to just argue with each other just for the sake of arguing, because that's what Jacobses do. That's what apparently the Andrus family does.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah. So we actually agree on this Jamal Murray thing. But I do. In fact, I'm going to throw to the Chad interview, and then we'll talk about it again on the other side about, I think, and I really blame Zach By for this. He just scared the death out of us about the cap and the luxury tax and the repeater tax.
This is not a drill.
So we've been scared out of our mind with the Denver Nuggets and what's going to happen, and it's going to be Armageddon and all that stuff. But after doing some more analysis this weekend, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. So we'll talk about that before we finish up the show as well. But coming up next, had a good conversation. He's our NBA insider. He made the Colorado 14ers what they are today. He's the former voice of the 14ers, the former voice of NBA, one of the former voices of NBA TV. Our own Chad Andrus joined the program to make some sense out of what's going on. All right, so I don't know what the heck's going on with the Denver Nuggets. I know they're in the LeBron James thing, but then I hear, I'm on DenverSports.com, I see that it's not. I don't want to mischaracterize this, that they could have had Jaylen Brown, but the discussions with the Celtics about Jaylen Brown, the Celtics at least had interest in Jamal Murray, and apparently he's off the table. So what does that mean? What are the Nuggets doing, Chad? Please make sense of it to me.
Yeah, I mean, he was at least off the table in that discussion. All indications to this point are that they're pretty much running it back. And I'll say that with the caveat of massive deals do take a long time to put together, and they want to make sure they get it right. But I don't think there's been any indication other than preference of people that cover the team or the fan base for the very divisive argument of moving on from Jamal Murray and his salary and doing something different with that $50+ million. Other than the narrative of that, there's been no indication from the Nuggets side of things that that's the plan.
All right, I want to talk this out with you because it's all confusing, and we've talked at length, and all the shows have been doing things. The problem is when you start talking about the NBA salary cap, you think you know it, and then there's some other rule, and you got it completely wrong. So But I was talking to Dave Cohen, our friend, your friend and my friend, before the show, and he's like, well, I just read something that says they're not in any cap issues at all, which is not true, but I did a little bit of math. And so this is probably going to be wrong. But I think right now they're at about $215 million. They need to, still fill out the roster and things like that. So let's say they do re-sign Payton Watson, and that puts them at about $235 million. They don't have to get down to the cap to avoid the repeater tax. I don't think. I think they just have to get under the luxury tax threshold, which is around $200 million. So let's say they're at $235 million. They start the season. They still have flexibility to move contracts, but I guess the point being they only have to really shed probably around $35 million total to get under that repeater threshold. At least that's the way I think it's working. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, so if you operate like that, then you're talking about all you have to do is do that before the trade deadline. So you say, okay, who's the contending team that really is going to pay out for Aaron Gordon at this point? And they're going to, take Zeke Naji with it to make sure we get under that money and we're going to get picks back. So that just has to be done by the trade deadline, essentially, because that's the last time you can make a move before your total on your books is going to be set and your tax would be determined. But okay, at that point, that's a really different conversation if the Nuggets are first or second in the West and on a roll at the All-Star break and look like a machine that can contend, or if Gordon's been hurt, Peyton Watson hasn't been on the floor, Jokic and Murray have missed time, Cam Johnson has been out again, they're floundering, they haven't figured out a way to play defense, and they're barely above 500. Those are two different, very, very different conversations as to what you're doing to shed the money at that time. And I don't know that there's any reasonable way that you could predict that they would be at either one of those ends of the spectrum or wherever they would land in between. So do you want to run the risk of looking really, really good and thinking like you're in contention and then say, oh, well, we're going to pay now, and then think that's going to maintain through the playoffs and against San Antonio and against Oklahoma City, and then you're just going to eat the tax money? Or are you going to, at that point, make a trade even though things are going well?
My guess would be they would make
a pretty tough question to ask.
Well, they're probably going to make a trade no matter what. I just have a hard time. And by the way, I don't blame them. Because you give me a hard time. You think I'm really hard on the Rockies and I don't want to give them credit. I don't blame them. In fact, I think it would be irresponsible to pay that ridiculous one. I think it'd be immoral to be wasting money like that, but also to keep yourself in repeater status for yet another season. So then it takes longer to reset the repeater status. I have a really hard time unless, okay, if LeBron comes here and maybe that changes the narrative, but absent LeBron coming here, I can't wrap my mind around a scenario where they pay $150 to $250 million extra dollars in luxury tax penalties. Can you?
No, for a team that wasn't competitive in the first round against a team that was all banged up and injured. So I said the same thing, and I was on another one of our friends' shows yesterday talking about this, and they said, he's worth $30 billion. Why not just pay the tax? And I said, well, why would you do that for a team that is nowhere close? It's a different story if you were in the Western Conference Finals or you lost in the NBA Finals and you thought that your team was there. This team's not there. They have flaws. They have holes that are beyond just injuries or matchups with Minnesota. So, no, and I think the one big thing, and John Davis and I have been talking about this quite a bit the last couple of days, that people are overlooking, is well, why don't they just pay it? If they just pay it, they can move forward. It's just money. Well, it's not, because then it limits what kind of moves you can make. So you're not just paying that extra money for a team that's not close. You're then committing to that because you have no other flexibility to get out of it. You go into that second apron, then all of your free agent signings, your trade possibilities, what you can take back in a trade, how you can move players, those get all limited. So you're not only paying double the price of what it costs to have your team, you're doing it for a team that's not close to a championship, and you're committing to that's the only path we're going to have. Yeah. It's not a wise decision.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Now, you and I have we may disagree on why we think Jamal Murray is problematic. However, I think we do both agree that it's highly unlikely that he's the centerpiece or the number two for a Nuggets successful second run. I really like the way you put it, Chad, during the games when they were unfolding or right at the end when you said the Nikola Jokic era is over. It's done. And I agree with you on that. The question is, as you stated, is there going to be a second one, a second part of his prime where there's a legitimate hope of a championship? I really like the way you put that. I agreed with it. I don't think Jamal Murray's a part of that. But if it's true what we're seeing on DenverSports.com right now, that the Nuggets had at least an opportunity to explore a situation with Jaylen Brown, but they wanted to shove, I believe, Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson the other way, and the Celtics said, no, if we're going to do anything, it's got to include Jamal Murray, and apparently the Nuggets were not interested in that. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's where I wholeheartedly disagree. And my take is the Jokic Murray era is over, because while we agree that there's an issue there and there's a challenge with those two as the core of your team, we think there's different reasons why. But it's not a Minnesota problem that I see in the playoffs, because any team you're going to play in a series is going to have two or three long, lanky, quick defenders that can pick up and pressure full court, and they're going to have two or three guys that can put their head down, put the ball on the floor, and get to the rim. And if you have Jokic and Murray on the court, their other teams are going to do those two things on every possession, every minute they're in the game for an entire 7-game series. And you cannot put that kind of strain and responsibility on Joker and Jamal, because Jamal can't get the ball up the floor by himself and get in the offense with 10 seconds left and then end up taking challenged, rushed, bad shots. That's how you get 3 for 17 shooting games, because you're tired and you're pressured by bigger, longer athletes. And then on the other end, you're having to defend every action. So they're exhausted. So when your game plan is to, it's close in the final 5 minutes, we'll close with Jokic and Murray, 2-man game, it's unstoppable. Well, no, they've stopped it because they've worn the guys out over the previous 46 minutes of the game, and they can't get a clean shot off. They don't have their legs under them. They don't have touch in the paint. They don't have a floater. They can't get to their spot because they've worn them out. The Nuggets have to play a different way that isn't so entirely dependent on Jamal and Joker, because when those two guys are the focus, other teams use the entirety of the course of the game to take them out of their ability to close. So it's no indictment on Jamal as a player. It's no indictment on Jokic as a player. It's the combination of the way teams can expose both of them being on the floor. So in my opinion, the only way out is to get a deeper, more athletic team with more ball handling options. And Jamal's $50 million salary is the best way to flip that into 2 or 3 playable guys for a playoff rotation. That's the easiest path to take a smaller step backwards in order to take steps forward.
I don't agree with anything you said there. The only thing I would maybe disagree with when you say it's not a slight on Jamal is I agree with you. They're tired. They're worn out. Or in particular, Jamal is. How many years have we heard that, though? And is he not possible? Is it not humanly possible for him to get in the type of shape so he's not exhausted at the end of games?
No, it's not shape, Dan. And this is where we're butting heads, because you said, be in shape, try harder, have more heart, be tougher. None of that is going to change being pressured by Jaden McDaniels or Terrence Shannon or Ant dribbling up the floor for 48 minutes. He's still going to have to struggle because he is an inferior athlete to those players. He is going to be pressured the whole time. And when the Nuggets put that onus on him as a sole ball handler, they're late getting into their offense. They don't get good shots. They get tired, and it's tough to close down the stretch. It's the equivalent of, you saying to me, if I'm playing one-on-one with Jamal Murray, well, you should just try harder. Well, it doesn't matter how hard I try, how much heart I have. I got no shot. He's going to stop me
I don't
every
agree.
single time. That is the equivalent when you put Jaden McDaniels or Ant on him. They're going to make it difficult every single time.
That's where you've used that. You've used that analogy before, and I don't think that's an apt analogy. What you're talking about is a talent gap. What you're saying is,
yes.
It doesn't matter.
It's a physical ability gap. It is quick twitch athleticism and length. It is the difference between, what Russell Westbrook provides on a court and what Andre Miller provides on a court. It is the margins that win games in the NFL, in college football, in the NBA, in hockey. It is the tiniest of margins, inches, quarters of a second, that are won by quick twitch athletes when there are loose balls. And other teams have better athletes than Jamal.
All right, so what do you think on this LeBron thing? I don't think we've heard anything overnight. It's weird. You would thought he would have learned a lesson about dragging things out, because he seems to have been pretty reflective about what a disaster the decision was. But listening to his agent yesterday do the whiteboard and all that stuff, sounds like they don't mind dragging it out and making it all painful for us. What's your best guess on what's going to go on with LeBron?
Well, I've said this for the last 2 days. It's fun to talk about. Don't ever want to ruin anybody's fun or, be a wet blanket on the party. Everybody can dream. Everybody can hope. It would be great to envision him and Jokic playing together for the basketball element of it. People that love the NBA for basketball would be in heaven for the high level that they could achieve together. And it's amazing to think about. It's hard for me to buy into it being too realistic. First and foremost, LeBron is a walking, talking, dunking billion-dollar enterprise. He didn't wake up this week and say, you know what, I'm just not feeling like the Lakers anymore. Let's just go field some offers and see what's out there, and maybe somebody will I'll be lucky enough, somebody will give me a good deal, and I'll land a job. He's a billion-dollar enterprise. He knows where he's going. This has been decided long ago. But the attention he's getting from it, and the way they're putting out a whiteboard of options, allows Rich Paul, LeBron James, their entire team, Clutch, to take the temperature of the room and see what the reactions are going to be like. How should they announce it? When should they announce it? What should be definitely included, on the team roster when we get there? And it puts attention on him for a week when nothing else is going on. But to pretend for a second like he's still weighing his options and making a decision, that's silly. Billion-dollar enterprises do not do that.
All right, I heard you say that yesterday. I agreed with it. I brought it up throughout the show. Thank you for taking some time. Happy anniversary. Good job getting out on a hike, and we'll let you get on home. Thank you, sir.
All right, Judge. See you.
All right, that's Chad Andrus. You want to react to anything he had to say? I know I'm going to react to something he had to say. We'll do that coming up next.
The Rockies aren't winning the West, but they might be one of the most fun teams in baseball now. Rookie T.J. Rumfield is raking. Hunter Goodman's launching homers at a rate that has all-star voters and trade deadline scouts paying attention. Mickey Moniak is back healthy, and Sid Satella's having a career year out of the bullpen. The trade deadline's August 3rd. Who stays? Who goes? What's the new front office building toward? Denver Sports is all over it. Denver Sports 104.3, The Fan.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
When you decide to sell your home, don't settle for a good agent. Go for a great one. Go for a Weichert agent. A Weichert agent looks at you as a partner, not a transaction, and will work day and night to get you the results you're looking for. And your Weichert agent is backed by the Weichert brand. With over 50 years of experience, Weichert agents have guided thousands of buyers and sellers through every facet of homeownership. Don't settle for good, go for great. Work with a Weichert agent. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
It's no secret that the checkout line feels a lot heavier. If those daily essentials are ending up on a credit card, those double-digit interest rates are quietly draining your bank account. If that debt is starting to feel heavy, you're not alone. And if you're a homeowner, you've likely looked at your mortgage rate and thought, I can't touch that. With American Financing's Smart Equity Loan, you don't have to. It allows you to wipe out high-interest debt and lower your monthly overhead while keeping your primary mortgage intact. It's a surgical strike against debt. Unlike a fluctuating HELOC, the Smart Equity Loan is a fixed-rate loan, giving you a predictable monthly payment. At American Financing, there are never any upfront fees to find out what you qualify for. Guys, talk to a salary-based mortgage consultant today. Experts who are paid to help you save, not sell you more than you need. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
It's easy to find your groove. As America celebrates, Groove Toyota, the oldest family-owned Toyota dealership in the Denver Metro, has more reasons to celebrate. Choose from hundreds of pre-owns, 40 under 15 grand. GrooveToyota.com. Plus, Groove Toyota has more than 100 used Toyotas, including Toyota Certifieds, with full warranties available. Hurry into our Red, White, and Drive event. Groove Toyota. Start here, go anywhere.
Offer expires 7/31/26. Not all will qualify. Restrictions apply. With approved credit, call 720-961-4465 for complete details.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
Oh, that's awesome. Great job, Joe. Great job. Sounded fantastic. Got me a little, misty-eyed there.
I know, right?
For a
Like, we don't
second.
usually play the entire song, but I think we absolutely needed to let that finish.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it's great, and it gets you going. I did want to just take a minute to say, and I'm not talking politics, but I'm grateful. I know it's unfashionable now, right? Like if you say I'm proud to be an American, or things like that. It's
Well, at least I know I'm free.
right. You get in trouble now, right? And it's become fashionable to, I guess, slam on patriotism or be proud, because people like to bring up the fact that we're not a perfect nation and that we do have faults. Well, I got news for people. There is no perfect nation. Everybody has faults. Every nation has faults. I mean, it's government for crying out loud as far as that stuff goes.
One of the best things about America is we have the right to criticize our government and our country without the fear of persecution.
Yeah, well, that's what we're supposed to. But I'm not going down that road. But what I would say is this. You can always find something wrong. You can always find something right. And there was a very good argument that if you're willing to listen to it, that I know people are out there. There's a lot of fear mongering. There are people that are just apoplectic about what's going on with our government and our leaders and this and that. And they just think it's the worst of the worst. And there's a certain section of some of the younger generations that they're ashamed to be Americans. You don't have to be ashamed to be an American. And if you look, first off, there's never been a better time to be alive. And if you really want to look at it, you enjoy a better quality of life in this country, no matter where you are financially, than almost anybody else in history. Even if you talk about, by the way, I just went through a castle. I was over in Ireland, right? I went through one of the castles where they filmed Braveheart. Right? He throws the guy out that you have some good advice for me? Well, come here. Let me tell me, what would you... Right? Like, so I'm walking through that castle. This is the ultimate luxury, I don't know, 300 or 400 years ago. You would not trade that castle for, no matter where you live right now, more than likely, you would not trade your house, your apartment, your whatever for that castle. Because you want to know why? They had to, you want to talk about gross? They would have to hang their clothes over the commode, the outhouse or whatever, to kill off the bacteria because they had no washing machines. They couldn't wash their clothes. And the stank from their you-know-what would at least kill all the bugs and diseases roaming around their clothes. That was in the castle. Okay, so we live better lives now than anywhere in history. And I still believe that in this country, if you want it, you can go get it. And this is coming from somebody that started over 3 years ago from scratch at the age of, 45 years old? And have gone a lot farther than I ever thought. So are we perfect? No. But I'm telling you, man, we are living in historic times. If you choose to look at how great and be grateful and gratitude for how good we all have it, I think your life will probably be improved. And now part of that is you can't be grateful and angry at the same time. I argue with this a little bit because I think this may not be true, but some people will say you can't be grateful and scared at the same time. If gratitude fills your heart, then your quality of life is going to go through the roof and your perspective is going to go through the roof. And one of my favorite things about ever working in radio was, one of the hardest times I had just gotten hired here was it was 9/11. I think I've been on the job, I don't know, maybe like a month when 9/11 happened. And it was really hard working here because at the station, we had to flip to 100% news. And so all I heard every day, all day, was just negative and a sadness and people dying and all that stuff. I mean, it was a very dark time. But what I did for a living was I had to be exposed to it all the time. And I found myself being, getting a little depressed, to be honest with you. Like it was a little much weighing on us. And I think we did like a week or two where we just didn't talk sports on the station at all. But what I found was a commentary, and we're not going to play it today, but I encourage you to go to YouTube and find it. Because no matter where you're at, I think you'll get some perspective on America and just how great it is. And there was a commentary, ironically enough, this is kind of ironic, from a Canadian broadcaster. His name is Gordon Sinclair. And this was back when on the radio they would write commentaries and they would just give a commentary that took several minutes. I think it's 5 minutes long. But if you look up Gordon Sinclair, The Americans, it's a beautiful tribute to our country. And it talks about, it was a similar time where it was fashionable to kick America. I think it was around the 70s or something like that, at the end of the 70s, when we were kind of down, right? It was kind of one of our low periods as a country. And this guy, Gordon Sinclair, said, it's very fashionable to kick the Americans. But let me just tell you something about the Americans. And he lists all these things that are one grateful that we're great at. So they say, hey, you talk about Japanese technocracy, you get radios. You talk about American technocracy, and you get a man on the moon and back safely again. And then talking about when other nations are down, we're the ones to step in and help. And then, but nobody does that for us. So I at the tail end of 9/11, at some point I stumbled across that, and then I played that for our audience, and then I kind of every year on 9/11 when I was here, full time, I always played that. I said, we're going to take a minute because it's important. We're going to play this thing in its entirety, and I think it was like 5 minutes, and we would play it, and it just really kind of got me out of my funk, and it made me appreciate how lucky I am to be living in this country. And I hope you guys feel that way, or you have some perspective on it. I know not everybody feels that way. Even one of my daughters, when she was in her phase, right, like very upset with what the evils that our country does. But I would encourage you to listen to it. It's on YouTube. Gordon Sinclair, The Americans, and I can't tell you how grateful I am to be here 4 days in a row, talking to you guys, being a part of your journey, and you guys being a part of my journey. And I've actually crafted kind of a cool thing here because it's really woven into the law firm, and we get to, of course, with my wife and all that stuff, and we hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you have worked with us over the last 4 years. And so, like, my story is crazy. Like, only in America, literally. Like, that's barbecue guy, judge, attorney, talk show host. I mean, it's just, I could not be more grateful. And it's not because I was born, essentially we had a poor upbringing, right? But it's just, we live in a country that other people strive to get to. And it's funny because, again, it's fashionable to kind of talk down about America or say, we're culturally bankrupt, right? And my wife had a really good perspective on this. We just went to Ireland for the DeLorean Eurofest, right? Because the DeLorean was built in Belfast. And my wife said, what's funny is everywhere, back home, everybody says we have no culture. Everywhere we've gone on this trip, it's American music, it's American art, it's American shows. It's funny. Even, in fact, what's funny, Joe? I never talked about this. I turned on the TV in the apartment in Belfast. American stars were doing European movies. So, like, Matthew McConaughey is just a movie we've never heard of over here. They want him to go over there and star in their British movies or whatever. And it was like several of those. It wasn't just Matthew McConaughey. It was like, wow, wait a minute. I had no idea he was doing this whole other career. Everyone else still looks up to us. I asked my pastor, Tom Bassan, this one time. He's from South Africa. And I said, how do you know this? It was like a pop culture thing. And he said something to the effect of, because when America sings, the world listens. So I just hope we can, at least on this day, let's not be divisive. Let's just let's have a little appreciation, or at least I'm going to. I'm not meaning to tell you what to do. I feel grateful, Joe. I'm grateful that you're here with us and we're having a good show. And we'll have one final segment to wrap up this 4th of July. But don't fret, we'll be here tomorrow as well. It's the Dan Jacobs Show.
The Nuggets summer is heating up, and the biggest questions are still on the table. Will Nikola Jokic sign an extension or keep Denver holding its breath? Could a blockbuster Jamal Murray trade reshape the roster? And with Payton Watson hitting restricted free agency, what does the core look like moving forward? Stay locked in. Denver Sports has you covered all offseason long. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
This is Todd Whalen, founder of Advanced Tax Solutions. I'm here with Wes. Tell me what happened between you and the IRS.
I ended up owing $55,000 on unpaid taxes. I hadn't filed for several years and ended up settling for $25.
Hold on. So you went from owing $55,000 to $25? Now that's a great story. How did that happen?
Well, it's rather amazing, I guess. It got to the appeals officer. The appeals officer signed off on it, and obviously we accepted it.
Wes, what made you come to Advanced Tax Solutions?
You hear of many different firms or whatever on the radio, some local, some not, and I felt confident from the radio spots I heard about Advanced Tax Solutions.
So how do you feel about Advanced Tax Solutions now?
Very, very lucky and very grateful.
And would you recommend us to your friends and family who are in the same situation?
Yes, I absolutely would.
Thanks, Wes. If you're listening, be our next great story, 303-753-6040 or advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Colorado, it's time to take our recycling to the next level.
That's why Recyclon Colorado is bringing you more curbside and drop-off service from peaks to prairies. Guidelines as clear as our skies, so you know what goes where. And the price? As free as gawking at bighorns on I-70. You deserve a recycling system you can count on, like your puffiest winter coat. And we're here to give it to you. Learn more at recyclon.org/Colorado.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name. And the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
This 4th of July will be different than any other. Because this 4th of July, we have more things to be grateful for than ever. My name is Glenn Jammeron. I'm president of Alpine Bank, member FDIC. Yes, we've all been going through some rough times. But this 4th of July, we can be thankful for the freedom we enjoy as Americans. We can be thankful for our families, for our children's future. We can be thankful for our friends and neighbors, for being alive. Here at Alpine Bank, we're thankful for the terrific employee owners we have. And most of all, we're thankful for one person who makes our job the best in the world. That person is you.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends SodaDietAndNutrition.com. They've got a big summer offer. You can get 4 weeks free. Call 866-800-SODA and mention this station, 104.3 The Fan. 866-800-SODA. Mention this station to get 4 weeks free. Their big summer offer going on right now. It's Soda, Diet, and Nutrition. I want you to call up 866-800-SODA. Listen, 5 years ago I lost 60 pounds with soda, and I'm never going back. Why? Because they taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. And having those tools is amazing for your weight loss journey because it's about knowing what you need every single day and then having your own nutritionist, a personalized nutritionist with a personalized plan for you, the dynamic diet for you, custom built for you so that you can lose weight and you can keep it off. And that's the main thing. 5 years have gone by and those 60 pounds are not coming back. They'll never come back because I learned how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat, all thanks to Soda. SodaDietNutrition.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Today was a day.
Hey, Paul, way to follow up. Way to follow up the worst commentary ever said on the station.
I love that. The texture before that says, like, what a great job you did. And then this one, worst commentary ever.
Yeah.
Stick to sports takes.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because most of the time, if I'm going to get somebody taking a shot at me, they're going to say my sports takes suck and I should stick to law or barbecue. Now, this guy's saying, get back to sports. Well, thank you. I'll take that as a Zach By backhanded compliment that you love my sports takes so much and that you hate my patriotism. This is a good one. First time he's getting in the mix today. Brian from Nebraska says, when I was in first grade, my teacher said I can be anything I want to be in the United States of America. I wanted to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, here we are 50 years later, and I'm still not a Tyrannosaurus Rex. My teacher lied to me.
That's one of my favorite lines from Step Brothers.
Is that from Step Brothers?
Yeah, it's their dad when he's trying to like show them that he's still a kid at heart, because Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are in their 50s and act like children. He goes, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a T-Rex.
Now, my question for Brian would be, the teacher said you can be, not you will be. So, Brian, what steps have you taken to become a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Like, you don't just become a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You got to work for it.
Also, Brian's been in the mix all day. He might be the one that originally suggested the idea of the jury.
Oh, that's right. We owe him a receipt. He's keeping receipts. He's like Coach Prime. So, yeah, he's like, hey, man, I want to be juror number 1 because I originally came up with the jury label for the listeners on the Dan Jacobs Show, and he pulled it Saturday, April 25th, during the Dan Jacobs Show. He said, Tribe, Dan, if you're the judge, can we listeners be the jury? So there you go. So I guess he is honorary juror number 1 here on the station. I like this other one. He talked about being alternate juror. I'm sure I can't find it, but it says alternate juror number 2 here. I'm good at doing absolutely nothing, but I'll try my best if I get called upon. So yeah, the alternate jurors kind of get a raw deal, right? Because they got to do all the work, but if nobody gets sick or dismissed, then they don't get the payoff, because they'll get depending on the jurisdiction. But a lot of times they just go, okay, thank you for your service, you're free to go, and you're emotionally invested, you're a part of the jury the whole time, and then bye, you don't get to be a part of the decision making, which that would kind of stink, because you spend all this time going through a trial. Now, the worst experience I had with the jury was in an alternate, or lack thereof. So I'm picking a jury in a trial, and I love this jury. It's not my defendant, but my star witness was identifiable with all the jurors. I'm like, I can win this trial. Like, I love the jury. I'm like, we're going to win. And we get down to this last juror, and she's really trying to not be on the jury. I'm out of challenges. I would have gladly struck her from the jury because I could tell she did not want to be there. But the judges, because everybody wants to get out of jury service, right? So judges will find a way to keep you if they can, because they deal with a lot of BS. They deal with a lot of people trying to get out of service. Which I think,
come on, you're not really a racist,
right? Which I think is, it's a little disappointing because everybody hates jury duty. Dude, why would you hate jury duty? You watch true crime shows all the time. We're all fascinated with legal dramas and stuff like that. You're literally getting to serve your country and be a part of the process, take a break from work, and be a juror and help your community and your country and the government, everything out. Why would you be so, it's too inconvenient for you? Oh, well, sorry. But anyway, I get off on a tangent there. So the judge talks this lady into staying. And we get done right about lunchtime. So we have all the other potential alternates, and we're about to excuse them. And the prosecutor says, Judge, you think we're okay without any alternates? He goes, yeah, I think so, Mr. Jacobs. And he looks at me, and I said, well, I don't know. It seems like we're kind of taking an awful big gamble there that nothing's going to go wrong. And the judge said, it's all right. I like to gamble. Everybody's excused. I'm like, okay, all right. I guess I don't count for anything in this equation. My guy's the one on trial and may go to prison, but that's all right. Cool. Thanks, Judge. And so we go to lunch. We come back from lunch. That last juror, the judge calls us in and says, the last juror says she can't serve because she's insane. I'm like, whoa, you got to be kidding me. And I looked at the judge and I said, Judge, how about that alternate? And he just slunk down in his chair and hung his head in shame. And so I'm like, well, Your Honor, I'm fine. We'll go through with 11. I don't care. And the prosecutor's like, nope, can't do that. That's an appealable issue. I'm like, we're willing to waive our right to appeal that issue right here and now. We want our day in court. We want our speedy trial. We want this jury, because I wanted that jury. And they would not let me do it, so we had to declare a mistrial. We come back now with a different judge, a completely different demographic makeup, and everybody, some of the people had read up about my client beforehand. They did not like my client. Some of them even said it. Like, it was a small town. He had been in the news. It was controversial, and it was completely stacked against him. I'm like, yeah.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Yeah, so that was why I was very, very upset about not having the alternate number 2 that we have here on the Dan Jacobs Show.
Yeah, that jury does not compare to our jury.
Oh, we've got the great jury. So, yeah, it's funny. Thanks for the uplifting talk, Dan. A lot of us still love being an American. Happy Independence Day. Dan and Joe, God bless the USA. With never be ashamed to love your country and letting people know. F those that just don't get it. That's from Jim in Melbourne, Florida. But that was preceded by our friend, the worst commentary I've heard on the Fan. Sticks to your sports takes. I just wonder, this is my only thing. I don't care. Like, that guy doesn't hurt my feelings. He's entitled to his opinion. Just what was this? Why would you bother sending a text like that? I mean, I'm sure I know I get a little overly judgmental because I'm sure at some point in my life I may have sent that text or something. And I've called into radio shows before and I've been opinionated, but I don't know. What are you trying to accomplish? Like with something like that? Like, do you think you as a texter, after I do a segment where I do something that's uncomfortable, where I'm willing to be a little bit vulnerable and I'm a little willing to put myself out there, and you responding with hateful rhetoric makes you smarter? Because is that what he's going for? Like he's a smart guy. Like he's enlightened.
Well, also he texted in about 10, maybe 15 seconds into you talking about this, so he missed the entire uplifting message. Just basically said, don't talk about politics. But also, speaking of, I think the World Cup has actually added a whole bunch of wholesome and quality patriotism, and not the like, we hate the rest of the world because we love America. You don't have to hate anybody else just to love your country, even if your family is originally from another country, like our guy Alex Pateo. He's a massive fan of Team Mexico and the World Cup because he is Mexican, but he's also American, and he still still roots for Team America. It's Team USA.
Team America. Team America. No, and that actually we've talked about a lot on the show. One of the great things about the World Cup, being here is seeing the videos of people saying, "We got it wrong. America's awesome. Free chips and salsa. It's clean. It's safe." Now, who knows where? America's so huge. It's not all clean and safe everywhere. But yeah, like people getting a healthy appreciation for what it's like to be over here. And I think that's been cool. It's fun. It lifts us up a little bit.
The internet exaggerates a lot, Dan.
Yeah. No, we were talking about that last night, and people were asking me when we were in Belfast whether it was that bad, because when we were over there were riots, and I was like, no, they were pretty bad. Like, they were burning things down, and like they shut down the city. It was pretty bad. But no, yeah, the internet doesn't always get it right, and I'm not smash on the media guy. Well, I'm smash on the DenverSports media guy, but not smash on the media in general guy, because as a lawyer, I kind of believe in the Constitution, and I believe in the freedom of the press and things like that. Again, I know not always a fashionable opinion these days.
But also, we know a lot of the DenverSports media people personally, so they kind of understand a lot of it is tongue-in-cheek.
You would be surprised. A lot of them don't. A lot of them, let's just say this. I'm not the favorite guy amongst the DenverSports media, and I'm okay with that, because you know what? I got the jury. Thanks for hanging with us today. We appreciate all you. Joe, appreciate good job out of you. We'll see you next Saturday. But for the rest of the jury, we will see you tomorrow morning for the easy, like Sunday morning edition of the Dan Jacobs Show. Yes, Joe, court is adjourned.
He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right, you are wrong. He's reading your text, he's taking your calls. It's the Dan Jacobs Show, and he'll decide what the law will allow. He's making your day the only way he knows how, by giving you the facts, cutting through the BS now. He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right and you are wrong.
The countdown is on. Broncos training camp is less than a month away. Rookies report July 22nd. Veterans hit Broncos Park powered by Common Spirit on the 28th. Bo Nix is expected back at full speed. Sean Payton skipping joint practices to maximize every rep. And it all builds toward a season opener on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. From camp battles to kickoff, Denver Sports has you covered. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
On BritBox, there is a place where stories twist like cobblestone roads, grand manners hide secrets, and stakes are higher than seaside cliffs. Find places worth getting lost in on BritBox. Watch new series like The Other Bennett Sister from the world of Jane Austen and A Woman of Substance starring Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn. If you want to get away, you're in the right place. Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Free trial at BritBox.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you about the Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's back.
The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich, it's so rich, and you can choose between the original or the spicy filet.
Ooh, boy.
And then you got those pickled jalapenos tucked right under the filet, and then just to top it all off, you've got a little honey drizzle right on top.
Okay, now I'm a pimento fan.
And I'm feeling the dragon fruit.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Progressive provides protection for your boat and other outdoor vehicles so you can explore new things.
Oh, I can finally try pesto.
We meant like water skiing.
I've just never had pesto.
Or maybe take the boat somewhere new.
I mean, is pesto spicy or sweet? Oh, guess we'll find out, right?
Right. Bundle home or auto insurance with your boat, RV, or motorcycle and stay protected with Progressive while you explore.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for pesto.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Safe snowmobiling requires good vision, balance, coordination, and reaction time. Using alcohol and prescription or illegal drugs affects these abilities and impairs snowmobile operation. Alcohol also lowers your body temperature, so it's a dangerous combination in winter weather. No amount of alcohol or drug consumption is ever safe when operating a snowmobile. So it's simple. Don't ride impaired. Brought to you by the American Council of Snowmobile Associations and the Federal Highway Administration. Visit snowmobileinfo.org.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/
the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Go shut out Canada 3-0. Azadine Onahi scored twice in the second half. Baseball. The Yankees slump could lead to transactions. Rookie starter Brendan Beck gave up 3 early home runs, 1 to Cody Clemens, and the Twins lead 6-4 in the 6th. With Carlos Rodon on the injured list and Max Fried still out, ESPN's Buster Olney says New York could be in the market for a starting pitcher.
There are going to be a lot